Blair with the Badass Records podcast, welcoming you in for what I think is the fourth annual Thanksgiving edition of the show, and I'm pleased to share with you all that this week's guest is Matthew Naquin. Check him out at The San Mateo on Instagram, also thesanmateo.com. Find his Bandcamp page, where you will discover 4 EPs and a full-length release as well. Those are also available digitally on Spotify and Apple Music. So check out his tunes and also check out his illustrations over on Instagram. In a perfect world, these episodes are out on Thursdays. You can consume them via stream or download wherever you get your podcasts and your music, or you can view it on YouTube. Everything lives on the website, which is badassrecordspodcast.com, and give the old Badass Records a follow on Instagram if you'd like to keep tabs on what's going on with the show. Hope you all have an opportunity to relax and eat something tasty today and spend some time with friends and family, and that's all I got for you. Appreciate you stopping by. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoy the show. Did get jumbled a couple weeks back, but I think I'm back on track, and this will wind up being episode 192 of Badass Records podcast. And Matthew Naquin, did I pronounce it right?
You did.
Okay.
Very good. Most people do not.
Okay.
So that was a good right off the bat. So.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
San Mateo.
Yes.
And The San Mateo on Instagram. You've got on Bandcamp an EP from 2017, 18, 19, and then Deep Styria is 8 tracks in 39 minutes.
Yes, that's the.
So that, in my nerd library, pulls it out of the EP and makes it an LP.
Yeah, I would think that's, out of all of them, that might be the only one that's an LP.
Yeah.
So.
And then another one from 2021 and 2022. Spotify, Apple Music, and thesanmateo.com.
You got it. Wow,
which has
done great. Yeah.
a huge link.
You followed the
which
link.
Takes you to a Ruben Naiman article on eon.com. Tell me the story there.
So I don't even remember. I've changed out the articles a few times.
Have you really?
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm not even sure which article it is anymore. It's
okay.
been a while. So I've gone quiet since 2022, and I usually update my website with every new release.
Okay.
And so, tell me, do you know which article it was? What was it about?
I don't.
You usually go for really obscure science / woohoo philosophical kind of things that I love the fact that you clicked on it. That actually makes my day, because I assume nobody does. It's just kind of there, and it seems obvious to me that it's a link, but
Well, it is if you're curious. It's obvious if you're curious,
right? Yeah.
But I mean, it's so much text.
Yeah,
so it's like a bunch of. It looks like code.
It's binary.
It's okay. Yeah. And so I definitely skimmed it, but I was searching for a specific piece of information, which was distracting me from comprehending. So let's see here. In Exile from the Dreamscape by Ruben Naiman. We live in a wake-centric world that devalues dreaming, yet we need to experience dreams to be our authentic selves.
Yeah, it's a great article. I actually highly recommend it. I went down and I still do. Like, I don't know. Did you ever see The Max? Do you ever remember? It was a comic book, but it was also turned into a cartoon it was on MTV back in the mid-90s.
It sounds familiar.
And it was about a big purple superhero, but it was really about mental health, honestly, and about all these things. And he lived in 2 different worlds. One was called Pangea, which is like the dream world, and then the other part, and it was very, very cool. Or the Outback in Pangea, and then there was him. And anyway, he wasn't a real superhero. I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
People should actually check it out.
Yeah.
Read the comic. It's beautiful, super heavy, super deep, very layered, and so I get really into this whole dreaming universe type of concepts. It's what I went to school for philosophy, so I broke myself somewhere along the line doing that. So I like to insert it in, whenever I can.
Oh yeah, man.
So,
where was school?
So I went to Avila and Longview. Those
Okay.
were the two. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. But I dropped. I always joke. I dropped out of art school to get a degree in philosophy, and I dropped out of that too. So I made it most of the way through college, but I have an associate's, but that's as far as I ever got.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, there's definitely there's mental health themes in that piece.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I was trying to find a connect, like, how does this correlate to who you appear to be and what you appear to be doing? And I think that eventually I was like, well, I'm just going to ask him.
Yeah, sure. No, it's, I hide a lot of those themes throughout, like, all of those releases. There's a lot of that in there. Goes back to the going to school for philosophy, I think, or just being into it at a very young age, and then going to study it because I can't say it broke. I joke that it broke me. It did in a lot of ways, but I feel like it keeps me still questioning and thinking and stuff like that, and I there seems to be a lack of that these days, right?
Absolutely.
So which also makes things worse for you if you're in that mode, and so I like to represent a lot of those themes inside of the music, and I like to bury it. I like people to go looking for it. I like people when they find it, whether it's a sample that I use inside of one of the songs. It's I have quite a few of my releases have like little spoken pieces that I've sampled off of this or that bring that theme back around and whatnot. So
nice.
And even titles of the songs. So really from the very beginning to the very last release, there is a thread that goes through it, which I don't want to tell anybody what that thread is. So I want people to make it of it what they will.
Yeah.
And it's hidden enough for people. If they want to look, they'll find it. If they don't, that's fine too.
Yeah. So the releases that you mentioned are on Apple, on Spotify for streaming, but also on the San Mateo Bandcamp page. Mm-hmm. What's the name story behind San Mateo?
That's a great question. So I initially grew up in Northern California.
Okay.
So in the Bay Area. So there's a San Mateo, California, right? So that was just kind of a big piece of my life. It's where this is in the late 70s, early 80s, right? And then who was like a second mother to me, used to call me Mateo, my mom's friend, kind of an aunt, but not really type. Anyway, and so it just kind of stuck with me for the years. It's also a bit tongue-in-cheek, St. Matthew, so which I'm not, right? So it just kind of carried me through for a while. Now, that being said, I've been going back and forth whether I'm going to drop that moniker on the next release, if and when that happens. There's a couple other San Mateos out there now. Mm-hmm. It wasn't when I started, but now there's a couple totally different than mine. I have to kick them off of my account every once in a while. They'll release new music, and Apple or whomever, Spotify, will get it wrong and release it under me instead. And
really?
Yeah.
There's not a person doing that?
No. So you have to email them and be like, "This isn't my track. This isn't my video. Please remove it."
But here's my bank account if any money comes in.
They're probably more successful than I am. So they're definitely poppier than me. Those are the ones I've seen. But
I've talked to 3-4 different people that absolutely hate their name, their band name, and they've gone to all the ends to, we're gonna push the button on the change, and then they're like, fuck, we can't. We're stuck,
there's baggage there at a certain point,
right?
It's like
one of the most recent ones, musician, super cool, Miguel Antonio, Run With It band. He also hosts a podcast, and forgive me, Miguel, but the name of his podcast is escaping me at the moment, but it starts with a hashtag. And we were wrapping up, and I'm like touching on all the things again. And I was like, just out of curiosity, do you think that that's given folks difficulty finding your stuff? And he's like, I'm guessing it has. And I was like, you could change. He's like, I know, but it's just funny.
Yeah, it's like with San Mateo. Like if you Google San Mateo, you're going to come up with just a ton of stuff about the town.
Yep.
You're not going to find. And if you do San Mateo music, they'll talk to it. You'll be like, every Sunday in San Mateo, California, they're doing like a festival night or something like that. So you'll never find it. So I was thinking about making it the San Mateo just because that's how my website has to be. But I don't know. I'll probably leave it.
Well, it's I've spent some time in California, not enough to immediately identify the terrain of all the parts and all the towns and all the areas, but so I can't say anything about San Mateo, California, but hearing it and reading it gives me like a kind of a calm, not necessarily coast and beach, but it gives like a kind of a calming nature. So that, I don't know, there's something
interesting
in there for that, at least for me. But let's see here. You are not just a musician, but an illustrator too.
Man, you really have done your research.
I mean,
yeah, you've done good. Yeah.
I appreciate when people say that, but I also want to be like, it's not that hard. I mean,
I know it's just a Google search away, right?
Well,
or you just go into
not for you.
Yeah,
not.
I
mean, all right, gotta fix this, and here we go.
Yeah.
Here's all the stuff.
Yeah.
How does art enter your life?
So it's still a big part of it. I don't. Probably not as much. I don't do shows as much as I used to or anything like that. But I still kind of, since I work with a lot of musicians and know a lot of musicians, I do a lot of poster work still. So you might see my stuff around town on different flyers or different posters. I'll do some album covers. I mean, I really started off, I would say, as an artist before. I always loved creating, right? But I think art was the first thing that drew me into the creative world. Again, going back to growing up in the Bay Area,
you born out there?
Yeah.
And then you leave when you're
8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. And then actually lived in Philadelphia for a few years.
Okay.
And ended up here. So, but in San Francisco, when I was a little kid, my mom used to take me to the San Francisco Art Institute a lot. And they do all these cool things for kids there. And so I was just surrounded by like this cool, creative, cultural thing, that was scary. As a little kid, it's scary because it's weird and fascinating, but it's also beautiful and just really just intriguing and moved me at a really early age. And so art was really my first, like I said, foray where I got into creating things, and I loved it ever since. I still do it. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I still, anytime somebody needs a poster or whatever, if they call me and give me enough heads up on it, I usually can do it for them.
What's the best way for folks to reach out to you if they want to do that?
I guess either through Insta or Facebook.
Okay.
That's or like you found me on my website. You can go to my website and
there's a contact piece. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't do all the research.
I thought you contacted me through the website.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, see that back to the I don't know how I know this guy.
Right.
And you're like, hey, I'm interested. I'm like, who's this guy?
Right.
Wow. Okay. So, and then you have on-hand inventory of stuff that's for sale too?
Not so much anymore. So
okay.
I really need to actually I can't remember if I was going to do it. You've probably looked at my website more recently than I have. It's been, like I said, a couple of years, and I usually do a revamp with a new release. But do I have stuff up there for sale right now?
Don't. There wasn't a whole heck of a lot. I mean,
it's pretty minimal.
I definitely hit the 3 bars to get the drop down and poke around there, but I mean, most of my energy went to what is this story behind this link?
Yeah. Fair, I love that.
Yeah.
So for a while I was selling prints and whatnot. I haven't been doing that. I don't have any inventory right now.
Okay.
it might be something I get back to. Right now, it's just kind of on demand. If somebody needs something,
Sure.
I'll work something out.
Now, if
for them.
somebody asks you to do an album cover, do you ask to listen to it first?
I do. So that's a big component for me.
Yeah.
Like I have to.
I would be so annoyed if you would have said no.
No,
Like,
no, that would be
how?
No, just draw something out and there you go.
It's a deer and there's a stop sign and a little
I don't give a shit. Just take
coffee
it.
stain.
You know what I charge you for this? Next to nothing.
Yeah,
Next.
yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I have to. That's the big thing for me. I actually have to like the record to do it too. So that gets a little weird sometimes. So if it's not something I'm instantly kind of jiving with and feeling it, and it's not putting some sort of visual thing into my head, then I probably won't do it.
And
So,
you've reached out to folks, and
Yeah.
how have you phrased that?
I just told them I'm just not feeling anything. I'm just not, and I don't say it about their music. I kind of phrase it as, which now I'm giving it away. So if anybody's listening, I'm sorry. I'm sure the album was great. No, I just tell them I'm out of inspiration, just not happening or whatever, and I end up being apologetic about it.
Sure.
Because it's not on them if it's just not hitting me.
No. Yeah, and not just being in doing this, like, turned on to stuff that I didn't know previously. I think there was some expectation that, like, this is gonna widen my lane of tastes.
Okay.
No, I still am this dude that
Right.
likes what this dude
Right,
likes. Now I am more familiar with things
Yeah.
by a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, no exception.
Right.
And so, if everything that you give me is unfamiliar and it's not, it's tough
Yeah.
to get
Okay.
through,
Yeah.
especially with, like, if I were a more professional podcaster, I would never bring my phone
Right.
down into this room
Right.
when it's time to edit, because, boy, I can check, like, oh man, I just threw
get it.
15 minutes or an hour out the
Yeah.
window, and you're never getting that back.
Yeah.
So now I'm behind.
Yeah.
But so there's so much for you to just, this is not giving me anything. Okay, goodbye, over to this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, cool stuff. So born and raised in California. Siblings?
Yeah, I have an older sister that
Okay.
lives out in Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she wound up there and you wound up here. How?
We both wound up. Well, actually, so she's 8 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
when we moved out of Philadelphia, she was graduating high school, so she actually went back to California for a few years, and then, gosh, she went everywhere. New Mexico. Well, she came back here for a while, got married, had a kid, went to New Mexico, went to England for a while, lived in Florida, and then back here, and then somehow she next husband met her next husband, and he lived out in Lawrence.
Okay.
And she moved out there with
Okay.
him. So yeah.
And you wound up here.
So my parents came, so California, Philadelphia, then here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm 8 years young. So she was graduating high school. Dad took a different job here, and that's how I know
Okay.
her.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and just stayed. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
I forget the area. You probably know. And I haven't seen much of it. It's been a couple years ago, but for a while, my TikTok was heavily feeding me footage that was going to become a documentary of a portion of Philly
Okay.
where,
Move by chance? Was it was it a documentary about the Move incident in the 80s?
no, it's
oh.
like current.
Oh, okay.
And it's like heroin,
Oh,
fentanyl. But I mean, like, just the whole camera lens is, they're just folks that are like slumped over,
wow.
like standing and slumped all the way over.
That's
and
awful.
in the
Yeah.
gutters and the streets,
Yeah.
and just everything. I mean, they're houseless, so everything is of theirs
Right.
is with them, until, I mean, if you drift off, everything becomes game.
Right.
And now these are my whatever. And I don't remember, like, how that area wound up the way that it did. But I mean, it looked like The Walking Dead. I mean, it's crazy. It'd probably take me 30 seconds to
Right.
pull up the documentary, but I mean, like, just Philly's. I mean, forget about that area. Philly's wild.
Yeah.
Saw the last fish shows I saw were in Atlantic City,
Okay.
and my buddy was like, "Gotta go to Philly to get this fucking sandwich." And I was like, "Oh,
Cheesesteak or
no, it was something with the popular side is broccoli rabe. It's like a pork, some kind of pork sandwich.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
So, in all fairness, I haven't been back since like the mid '80s.
oh wow, okay,
So, well, we visited one time. So I don't my knowledge of where
yeah,
I've known people that have lived there more recently, and they said it's. I mean, I haven't heard that, but that's different. It's
yeah,
a lot of the issues that we're having in the '80s aren't there anymore. But it
right.
sounds like maybe I mean, fentanyl and that stuff is taking over everywhere. It
Yeah,
seems, so
and this is a very particular
right.
part. It's not
Yeah.
Philly, but so we went up and parked. It was hot, and it was just everywhere smelled like piss, and it was very busy, and the panhandling was really aggressive. It made me feel like I was in St. Louis, like.
Right.
And then we left, and I was like, man, this fucking city is a trip.
Yeah, I have friends that live up in the Northeast and they've done tours and all that, and absolutely, again, not saying it's bad or good, but they absolutely hate Philadelphia.
Oh.
They hate touring there. They hate playing there. They had
Interesting.
their van stolen there, with all their
Yeah,
gear.
yeah,
It's a different vibe there than
Yeah.
it is in most places,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
yeah, and then you got like all of the special elements to the identity of the fan bases,
Right.
sports fan bases
Oh,
up
yeah.
there. Remember in the '90s hearing that there's there's supposedly a court and a jail under the Eagles Stadium because so many folks were.
I wouldn't be
Getting
surprised.
arrested.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you know how Mom and Dad initially connected?
Through the theater. So my
Really?
dad was doing plays and stuff, and I think my mom was assistant directing.
Okay.
Up in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And that's how they met.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did they put on music to listen to in the home when you were young?
Yeah, not a lot. I don't remember us ever having like a system or anything like that, but definitely in the car. That was
Okay.
the place.
Okay. What kind of stuff were they into?
Kenny Rogers.
Sure.
Gambler is
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
Hell yeah.
What else? A lot of musicals, which not my jam
Sure.
necessarily, but I have a catalog of musicals in my brain rattling around because of it. Kenny Rogers is really the one that always speaks to me. But I'm trying to think. There was a few other things. My mom was a bit of a born again Christian at that time too, so there was some of that in
Yeah.
there too as well.
Okay.
So
Okay. So we talked a little bit about just a little bit ago about the idea of the album
yeah,
and what it means in 1973 and what it means in 2025 and all the places in between. So here's the collection of things that you're hearing as a young person in the car or wherever it may be, and then here's you today that shared a list with me. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And does not exclude all the things you could have shared if you had done like stuff from today.
Right.
Is there an album in between those two, stuff you hear from folks and your developed catalog of taste that really like was a light bulb or your first purchase with your own money?
Yeah.
Or
So there's two, and it's somewhat different eras, obviously. But the first one I was weirdly already into soundtracks when I was a kid. too.
Cool.
So it was the soundtrack to Tron, the original Tron.
Oh, wow.
So Wendy Carlos.
Okay.
And Journey's on it too. I actually have it on vinyl now too, which is crazy to have it like blue vinyl. It's really cool. Anyway, so it's the original Tron soundtrack, which didn't know until years later, which is kind of priming the pump for my love of electronic music later on and how I got really kind of influenced it. But I didn't realize that. And then fast forward just a bit later, I would say Thriller was the first record that I just wore out as a kid. like just over and over and over again.
Yep.
And I think I had multiple copies of that on tape because I would just play it until it just burned out.
Have you seen clips for the
Oh, that's
Michael?
right. They're doing. I have not. I just recently heard that it was happening.
Okay.
I have mixed feelings, I guess, on that. I mean, I think it's. I'd be curious. I'll probably watch it.
I probably will too.
Yeah.
Just a few days ago, I was sitting in the bleachers at school next to my buddy Jeff Shifley, who did an episode somewhere way back when. But we were talking about, like, our boys are in 6th grade together, and he really wants to take him to a concert. So he's rattling off all these, relics from FM radio land and childhood. And one of the first artists he threw out to me was Journey. And I was like, whatever. Like, I don't have, I at one time owned Journey's greatest hits. And enjoyed it. I enjoyed a period of listening to them on the radio, but certain experiences, specific experiences, can definitely distort my view. And if I'm in a dive bar and there's drunk girls screaming to "Living on a Prayer," I want to light that place on fire and leave. And the same with "Don't Stop Believing." And it really was even more when we wound up facing the Giants in the World Series, and Steve Perry's walking the stairs of Candlestick and the K, singing and getting it. I'm like, somebody shoot that guy. But probably because I was trashing him just today, I don't remember who it was, but I got fed a TikTok where there's a talented band playing I Want to Know What Love Is in kind of a bluegrassy folk, not like over the top, but some excellent string work happening and going,
okay,
all right. Like they actually, I know there's a lot of talent in that band, and I know that they worked hard to create what they created. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to take my foot off the gas of the Journey hate.
If it makes you feel any better, I think I just read recently that they're calling it quits for good this time.
Oh,
although
sure.
Steve Perry's not in it anymore.
Right.
But so they're done and dusted, supposedly. We'll see.
Strangely, on the very, very beginning of my Journey Steve Perry spectrum, my introduction to any of it was the video for "Oh Sherry" on MTV, which I loved.
Yeah.
I loved when that thing would come on.
Absolutely.
Something about his voice and what's happening with this relationship and the back and forth.
They knew how to make bangers, man.
Yeah, they did.
Like them or not.
Yeah. Cool. What about live music? Any early or first memories?
Yes. I was fortunate. My very first show that I got to see was Jane's Addiction on the Ritual de la Habitual tour back in 1989, 1990, something like that. It was in junior high.
Okay.
And I mean, it blew my mind. It was like, and before that, so yes, there's another memory, but that's like the one that was the first time I got to see a show, and that, like a real show, like a concert. It was Memorial Hall. The Memorial Hall was still a place.
Yeah. Is it not anymore?
I think they just do like wedding venue type stuff there now.
Great venue.
Yeah, it's a fantastic. I don't know when it stopped being the
venue. I saw David Byrne there 20 plus years ago. Yeah. It was phenomenal.
I can't count on two hands how many bands I've seen there over the years. I mean, it was an amazing place. And so many good bands played there. Again, I don't know why it stopped being.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we have a fair amount now. But at the time, there wasn't anything.
And a new place coming. Morton.
Up in River Market. Or not River Market. River, whatever. The
Riverside, Berkeley.
Riverside,
yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
It's going to be named after the salt.
Oh, is that what
Morton's,
it's named after? I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Old Umbrella Girl,
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of places have opened. I mean, Record Bar, the Rhino, Mini Bar, Lemonade Park, the Truman. I mean, there's so many.
There's a ton.
Yeah.
It really is. We actually need more smaller venues,
I
feel like, than anything else.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of, mid to larger, Midland and all these things that fit, decent sized crowds, but really it would be nice to see smoke.
Yeah.
We used to have like the Brick and Record Bar is still a great place, and Mini Bar obviously, but fewer of those around than there used to be for sure. So.
I can't remember the class, maybe government, I don't know, but in middle school, in 88, 89, I wound up in a classroom seated next to Mike Marchant, who, I on my whatever woven denim 3-ring binder.
Right.
Like I was always drawing the Jayhawk and the Van Halen logo, and Zoso and Notre Dame, and he drew completely different shit.
Right.
And I I remember one of the first things I saw him, he drew a picture of Slash. Before I knew who Slash was, with the hat and the hair and the guitar and the cigarette. And
that's cool.
I was like, what? And then he was drawing something Jane's Addiction related and told me that his older brother or somebody had just gone to Chicago to see them.
Right.
And that allegedly Perry Farrell jumped off the stage and kicked the dude in the, not like with intent to injure, but just being wild, and kicked the dude in the chest, and he's wearing like golf spikes. I was like, what?
I guess
that
doesn't seem that insane nowadays, right?
Yeah. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I eventually listened to Nothing Shocking and Ritual, and I was like, I can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which they were huge for me when not just seeing them live, but just changed music again for me. It was one of those bands that I think bringing the art and the music in together was just a big thing for me, and it really blew my mind.
Yeah.
And,
Ritual.
But didn't make it to the 5. So
I
sorry,
can.
I'm slipping
No, you're
into
good.
other places.
You're good. I love it, dude. Feel free.
Yeah.
Consumed Ritual first, and I was like, I like this a lot. I don't. The smash popularity of Been Caught Stealing was taking something I couldn't really articulate it at the time, but eventually I bought Nothing Shocking, and I was like, what?
Yeah, such a good album.
Oh my god,
such a good album. Yeah,
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah,
like this is and then that was it for them, right?
Yeah. Nothing Shocking's before Ritual, right? So
yeah. So I went backwards.
Oh yeah. Ritual, there was nothing else to go to.
Yeah, and then they obviously did other projects, but that outfit only put out.
Yeah. Well, there's also the live record, right? There's the Triple X release, which is got some other songs that aren't on either of those two, but they're I think covers only. It's been a while since I listened to it, but it's a great release if you haven't listened to it.
Okay.
I highly recommend it, honestly. Okay. I do feel that like the band's slightly tainted, so I try to keep my memories the way they are back in the late 80s, early 90s or whatever. But
so, like, when it comes to your music, you mentioned maybe Tron and this electronica parallel. We talked about the thread amongst all the releases with mental health and these kinds of things. So if somebody asks you, what kind of music do you play? Do you have a short answer? Because
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah. So I mean, from the first release of San Mateo to the last, are completely different records.
Okay.
I'm in the fortunate position, I'll say, that I'm not having to get paid to make art or make music or whatever. I mean, there was a time probably 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever, that I wished I was. That's all I ever wanted, and not that it would suck if it happened, right? But being in that, I can kind of separate the monetary from the art and do whatever I want. And so for me, the process is the best part of the art. And so that's why every record's kind of different for me, because it's like, well, I want to explore different things. I want to do something else. And now it's also not the best thing if you're trying to sell records and you have a sound or whatever, but I don't have to worry about that. So I can put out whatever I want. And it's been okay. Some releases go better than others for certain people, whatever. But, so anyway, to answer your question, there's no elevator pitch for it. It's really whatever I'm feeling. Now, I would say that there is an electronic music thread throughout all of San Mateo, but it's becoming more and more organic as I've been doing it. Like the last release is really focused on strings and not symphonic, but more like solo violin, and like I wrote all these string pieces for it, and so there's definitely synthesizers in it, but it's also got a lot of other organic overtones to it too,
Okay.
influenced by like post rock and other stuff. So it's again, it's whatever I'm feeling like doing, but it's just one guy in a
Yeah.
bedroom or office, really space,
Yeah.
working on music, and so there is a. I would say that the sonic throughput through all of it is just you can hear that it's me. I feel like even if
Okay.
it's different stylistically throughout those 7 releases, it definitely sounds like me in my
Okay.
opinion.
Yeah.
So
You know, I'm a big stand-up comedy nerd. Do you know George Carlin's bit about stuff?
I I'm a bit of a comedy. That's such a. I'm a bit of a comedy nerd myself. No,
Okay.
I don't know that bit
Okay.
though. Yeah.
So Carlin, one of the greatest.
Yeah.
And not trying to say anything about the later years where it was like sort of TED Talky
Yeah.
and that stuff has tremendous
Absolutely.
value.
Yeah.
I don't mean to discard it or
Sure.
put it anywhere,
Yeah.
but when he was doing hours,
Yeah.
like an hour long and just killing,
Yeah.
I love that. And so this going on vacation, like in your home, you have all your stuff, but you take
Oh, I think I do know
some
this.
stuff
Yeah.
to Hawaii,
Yeah.
and then you're okay. Now you have most of your stuff still here, but you got this amount of stuff with
Right.
you. And day two of the trip, so and so says we should go to the other side of the island and stay with so and so for a few days. So you take an even smaller portion of
Right.
your stuff. Now, if you had to the small make San somebody says make me a San Mateo record, or you
Yeah.
decide I'm gonna make a new record,
Yeah.
but it's the smallest version of your stuff
Right.
necessary
Yeah.
to record and mix and mail. What would your luggage look like?
I could do it with just a laptop, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, if push comes to shove, I could do
Okay.
it with the laptop. Now that's not how I mostly do it.
Right.
Mostly, there's a lot of hardware, there's a lot of gear in my office.
What are some pieces?
So really into a brand called Electron. I don't know. They make drum machines and samplers and stuff like that, and they're just really fluid machines. So that would be the thing I would probably miss. So maybe I'd take one of those pieces to hook into my laptop because I can do a lot of like organic kind of real time type of stuff with it. Um, and I would probably, if I had, I mean, I could do it all with a laptop. I really could if I had to. But if I just brought 3 pieces, it'd be like one Electron piece and probably a guitar. So
An acoustic or
no, electric.
okay?
Even though my favorite guitar in that I played with in a band called Box the Compass years ago is like a classical style acoustic.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be really into just not talking about not playing with the pick. I wouldn't play with the pick most of the time and do stuff like that. It was in my deep Leonard Cohen phase for a while there. So
That's a
yeah.
a rabbit hole that just keeps.
Oh,
It's like a clock.
absolutely,
The arm
100%.
keep. I'm like, I know. I'm
Yeah,
gonna get that. I
yeah.
can't force it. It just has to happen the
Right.
way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess maybe I would bring that guitar, that acoustic, instead the classical, the Electron piece in my laptop.
Okay.
That's it. I'm done. I can't. Oh wait,
I'm trying not to check bags.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
right.
That's funny. So, a lot of times this is just the who's been on the show happened the way it happened. This was never I'm going to talk to bands and musicians. It
Right.
just went that way, which is fine. It's great. Um, when I am talking to a musician, not all the time, but sometimes I want to know a little bit about the writing process and the recording process, and then if there's anything that they want to share about the studio production and fine tuning, cool. But I don't think that is. I think it's maybe looks different for you. Like, what does writing look like? Are you just on in your gear messing around?
Yeah, yeah. So I write a lot. I'm in kind of a weird writer's block period right now,
Okay.
which is, I think, the opposite of what most people think it is, or maybe I don't know. Where think most people just think, oh, you just don't have an idea, so you don't write, and that's not really the case. I'm writing constantly right now, but nothing's hitting. So, but yeah, I mean, the process is me. I I wake up extra early to before work, before day job, to get a couple hours in, just me before the sun comes up,
Yeah.
and start working. That's usually when I do my most of my work. So usually up at like 5, 6 o'clock, drink coffee, start working. Um, it's quiet, it's nice, everything's calm, so it's just me in my office with my gear, my computer's up. Um, it's not my computer's not my primary instrument. It's just a recording mechanism for the most part. Although I think I've been kind of dabbling and going what they call back in the box lately. But
With the compass.
yeah, yeah, it all goes back around, right? But yeah, I've written a lot. I just
Okay.
don't know where it's going right now, and that's kind of the worst part. When it hits, when you hear it, when I'm doing it and I hear it, and it's like, oh, that's the next record.
There's
right?
not a description for that. Everything
Right.
is different but the same.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's like it. I just stumble upon a song that I'm writing, and that will influence what the rest of the record's going to sound
Cool.
like, and that's kind of where I go from there. Now, sometimes I have ideas of what I want. Right now, I don't know if I have an idea of what direction I want to go. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I just haven't heard it right now, so I knew very much the last couple of releases where they were going and what I wanted them to sound like, and just kind of stumbled into what I knew the song was going to take me through the next release. Um, I had a lot of momentum on those, coming off of a pretty good run of releases that were getting a fair amount of traction, as it were. I think I always joke I don't listen or read a lot of reviews, not typically, but the worst reviews I could possibly get are the best reviews. Like, I don't mind if somebody doesn't like it and they review it poorly. It's fine. That never bothers me. I'm pretty thick-skinned. I've been making things for a while now. You kind of have to be. But I got the best review I've ever gotten on the last record,
Cool.
and it is
Still got it.
well, no, that's the other way around though, because now it's like, well, now how do I top that? This is a fantastic review. This person's saying things that I'd rather it be a bad review, because then I can shut that out. Now I'm having to think about, like, well, if I write this, is he gonna like it?
Okay, so my all-time favorite comic is Louis C.K.
Oh, okay. You saw him live when he was at the Uptown in 2020, or did you?
I did not. I saw him at T-Mobile in 2017.
No.
Which is remarkable. It was memorable because, it's maybe I did see him at the Uptown. I think I did see him. Anyway,
I saw the Uptown show. That's good.
the 2017, the special he put out is called 2017, and he wore a suit.
Oh, okay.
Which is like it was always a good. Anyway, he has been. So many words have been ruined by overuse these days, but a pioneer in so many ways. Not to say he was the first to say the model is that you do 5 minutes and 10 minutes and 15 minutes and you build your hour that way, and then you tour, maybe you record a special, and then you don't do that material ever again.
Right.
It's always a new hour, whether it's every 2 years, whatever. I fucking love that so much. It's so admirable, and I'll keep coming. I mean, because I know I'm not gonna get, I saw Rush at Kemper for Roll the Bones, and I didn't know that they did a medley in the second set, and it's like, you're doing like snippets of your 7 or 8 biggest hits all as one. Like, I don't. Obviously there are plenty of folks that are all, but I don't want that. Like, don't do the same set list every night.
Right.
But anyway, he just.
But that's what most people want out of musicians.
I know that. Like, so I think today actually his book is out.
Okay.
It's called Ingram. He made a movie a couple years ago. and so he's making the podcast rounds right now.
Oh, okay.
Talking about the book. I don't think he's talking to, but he's also touring, and he's got a new out. He's got a new special coming. He also decided forget Ticketmaster. Like
Good for him. Yeah.
I think he's back on it now.
Yeah.
But for a point in time, he had a platform. They found a company,
Right.
and it was all done through him. So that was for the live performance ticket portion. But all of his stuff is on his site. All of his hour-long specials, they're $5. You can buy all of them
didn't he? What was the show he released that way too?
his FX show, Louis.
Well, Louis, but what was the one? It was really dark.
Oh, Horace and Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was great, and he released that the same way. I think
Yes.
that's how he started, kind of releasing stuff was due to Horace and Pete, right? Or maybe I'm wrong about that.
Either yes, or he had just started.
Yeah.
And so it's, I mean, he was able to do some of the, he also decided, I'm just going to fund my specials.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm going to do exactly what I want. I'm going to keep, prices for my fans insanely affordable.
Right.
And like just, anyway, so he's making the rounds right now. I just a couple weeks ago listened to him on Fly on the Wall with Dana Carvey and David Spade.
David Spade, there it is.
And then yesterday he was on Bad Friends with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. Lots of fascinating material in both interviews, but I think in both he talks about a couple of different things. One being I have a voice that has been for years a go-to in my act, and I go to it because I know it kills.
Right.
I know it works, even if it's the same sort of character but with different material.
Sure.
And he's like, stop, don't do that.
Yeah.
Because you got Ezra Pound, you got to make it new. And so that was fascinating. And then also talking about loving when a room goes silent, and getting like out of that mindset of every bit and every joke's got to kill.
Right.
Like it becomes ha ha ha, like they're not even listening anymore. But when a room goes silent and then everybody's like, "What's going on right now?" Like then you have them.
Yeah.
And that's when you can really work and push the envelope, push the boundaries. So there's some kind of parallel to you, the artist, best review ever.
Yeah.
Like there's I don't know how to.
No, I get it. It definitely it took the wind out of my sails, surprisingly, to have such a good review.
Damn it! I needed haters.
Yeah, it wasn't haters. I guess. I mean, if somebody writes a milquetoast review that just doesn't do anything, that's whatever. Okay, I try not to read these things. When I was on a label with my last few releases before the label kind of went out, he would turn all my stuff in and to tastemakers and quotes, right? And then I'd get the feedback back, and so it was fun to kind of read some of them. Some people I really respected and knew, like the guys from Kruder and Dorfmeister or whatever, that liked it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. It was that time it was just like, oh, these people are listening to it, and that's really cool. That was kind of a fun. And then if somebody didn't like it, I'd laugh, I just because it. Yeah, anyway, it would be more fun to just, not because I'm trying to get them to not like what I'm doing. I'm an artist. I want people to like what I'm doing. I'm not going to say otherwise, but it at least elicited some sort of emotion, right? It wasn't just, okay, whatever, But then this magazine review that came out that was just overly glowing, it was just too much. It was like, this is a classic record and everybody should have it and all this stuff. And I'm not saying I feel that way about that release. I really love that last release that I did. It was probably one of my best records. if not my best thing. I put a lot of time and energy into it, but again, once I heard it, it was like, now I've got to top that, or I've got to do as good as that, or what
Different.
yeah,
Different.
right? But it's always now in the back of my head.
Yeah.
So I've got to get over that. That's part of the hump right now that I'm going through with the writer's block.
Yeah.
But
I had a period of time where the idea, all things perfect, in bed by 8:30,
yeah,
so that a 3:30 alarm, I've gotten
right,
some sleep, up, coffee,
yeah,
down with the Spotify,
yeah,
and just get, if I start at 4 and shut it down at 6 and
yeah,
join the rest of the waking world,
yeah,
I'm getting 2 hours in.
yeah,
And like hammering out the word, like for a while I was obsessed with like, wow, I wrote 2,200 words this morning. And
yeah,
it's like, and then then it's like, okay, the word count doesn't mean shit.
right,
What happens is the next day, and you come down and you're like, either what I wrote
right,
is shit,
yeah,
or it doesn't fit with the bigger project that
right,
I'm think that I'm hammering away at.
right,
Or there's a couple other reasons where it's just like, okay, so those 2 hours in some sense meant nothing,
right,
and I have to just do this and stay steady Eddie. Okay, all right, just it doesn't matter. And but the other piece is like, well, I want this to be a thing that I, whatever, it's a novel or it's a blog post, whatever, for folks to
right,
read and say something about.
right.
It's writer's block is a weird.
It really is.
There isn't
yeah.
there is a definition for it,
Right.
and you can take that at face value, but
Yeah.
it's also way deeper.
Yeah, I think so too. The plus about doing it over and over and over again, even if if it doesn't amount to anything, nothing comes of it, is you're practicing your craft still, and you are learning from that. And even if it takes you a couple more years or whatever, and maybe I'm just telling myself this as well right now, but it'll be worth it. You'll learn something from that process. So the process is the point, right?
Yep.
I mean, I feel like at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. There's that nothing's hitting,
Yeah.
and how when it does hit, there isn't like a scripted how to identify,
right, you just know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's that can happen. It's like, okay, man, like I don't want to have a hand in this, but I sure would like if it could just keep going.
Yeah.
There have been a couple moments in some nerd alert epic fish jams,
Right.
where they get to a spot and the improv is literally, it felt like somewhere back here. So if this is a 17 and a half minute performance of a studio song that's 3:49,
Right.
they're like getting through that 3:49 in kind of an abbreviated version. They're not cutting anything out, but it definitely feels compressed.
Right.
And now here's the song that we just invented on the spot.
Right. Yeah.
And so what the analogy is like, getting a boat started and backing it out of the dock and making your way through past the no wake buoys, and then it's wide open. There's nobody around. The water's glass, and things just going.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, there's about to be
100%.
smoke coming out of this keyboard, baby.
Everybody back off.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the fish thing. Reminds me of I guess again, nothing against Taylor Swift. I have no anything what's one way or the other. I haven't honestly listened to it. I couldn't pick it out. But I did read something recently. I guess there's like a 10-minute song on the new record, and the fans are like, nobody else but Taylor Swift could ever write. This is a new territory, and I'm like, hold on. I think there's a lot of people before you that have written epic songs.
Couple 300-400 of them.
Yeah,
I mean, this one kid that has a YouTube channel where he listens to stuff that he had never listened to before.
there might be a couple of them, but I think I've seen a couple of those.
This particular kid is Walter Ruski,
Okay.
and he just did The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway
Oh wow,
by
great
Genesis.
record.
Yeah.
One of my actually probably my favorite Genesis record.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
In 2008 or 2009 was when that like landed on my radar,
yeah,
and I was like, I'm all right. Here we go. I
yeah.
gotta get in there, and I
It's
did,
quite the record to come to. Yeah,
and I was like, okay, I did that, and I'm gonna just put it in this holding cell
yeah,
where it still is right now,
right.
because I don't know what to do with it. I haven't been pulled back to it, but I
Yeah,
know there's layers.
yeah,
I mean, all the prog rock folks. I mean, there's
yeah.
anyway.
It, I went down a kind of a huge Peter Gabriel
Oh wow.
rabbit hole with that being part of that. But I in the '80s, like I knew Sledgehammer, obviously, right, like the hits, But then fast forward to mid late '90s, a buddy of mine was really into a lot of that stuff, and it's how I learned about Lamb Lays Down on Broadway.
Okay.
And that's where we were smoking a lot of pot, not working at the time, so it was like our thing, right?
Yeah.
And but it also got like the so going back to his other records like and the one after that, I can't kind of the sister record after
Mm-hmm.
but especially also the soundtrack to The Last Temptation of Christ.
Oh,
also.
yeah.
Have you ever heard that? It's so good. It's
I've watched the movie
yeah,
once,
yeah,
but never consumed the soundtrack.
yeah.
Myself.
It's a beautiful soundtrack.
Yeah.
Really well done, and just kind of became a Peter Gabriel guy after that. I mean, I'm not like I don't know his full catalog. There's a lot I'm missing,
Sure.
But a lot of respect,
Nice.
a lot of love for that guy as a musician
Cool.
and a creator. Just so interesting.
I had a similar experience, and I didn't stay in it too long. I didn't go very deep. I want to revisit or complete the journey, so to speak. Somebody just was like, dude, have you ever listened to like pre-80s or pre-hits Robert Palmer? And I was like,
I haven't, but I've heard that it's
no, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Like, it's every song
Right.
is the ladies,
Mhm,
the pasty white, and he was like, try this out. And I mean, I hit play and I was like, what
Right.
in the world?
Was
Like,
he part of like the New York? No, he wasn't because he was British, right? So was he like proto punk
Is he?
scene?
Is he
Or maybe he's not. So I don't know enough about. I've heard that there's a lot of backstory.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of musicians in the '80s, right? Like I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of like look at Heart, like what Heart was in the '80s, or Starship, or all these bands that were like. I mean, that's top pop rung there. But
boy, people are never gonna stop shitting on "We Built This City." Just never.
I think it's a great song. You know what? I mean, it's classic.
Yeah.
Right? It's
When it came out,
classically bad.
I was like, this fits
yeah,
the world of today
Yes.
music.
Yeah,
All-
very much
that
so.
dan dan.
Yeah.
So, doing
Yeah.
the Eddie Murphy white person dance. I
Yeah.
mean, just. But I can't say much more than to say that a couple of maybe 3 late '70s, early '80s records of his
Yeah,
just freaking slap. Like just
really.
killer bass and drums, groove.
What style of music is it? 'Cause
It's like funk.
oh, is it? Really?
I mean, it's like
okay, yeah,
rock adjacent funk or funk adjacent rock,
okay,
but very much not Addicted to Love and
Right.
whatever the other smash of his was.
I know I had girls on it that were dancing with
Yeah.
keyboards or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. So, I asked you this writing thing just because I wanted to know, but also I wanted to get a gauge of like, where does the arc of your musicianship begin, and what are some points, bands, or whatever highlights
yeah.
along the?
So, did bands in high school, was already making music and stuff like
Wow.
that, obviously, and even into junior high. I started playing cello originally, and like I don't know why either. Like this was in Philadelphia. I remember went to school. The orchestra teacher or whatever came to our classroom and showed us the instruments and asked if anybody was interested. I was like, I'm going to play cello.
Mom taking you to the San Francisco Art Institute.
I guess so. It just like
Got prime those juices.
I guess so. Yeah, and I remember coming home and I was like, I'm gonna play cello, and they're like, what? Where did this come from, right? So about 5 years of cello lessons and
That does
or in
not fit
school.
in your backpack.
Right? No, it does not. I cannot take that with me easily. In fact, when we lived here, I was still doing it, and there was one time I was going to school. My mom was taking me, and she tried to put the cello in the trunk and snap the neck off of it.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So
oh.
yeah,
I just had the same experience of watching like a compilation of videos where people fall.
oh yeah.
And mostly it's funny, but
Right.
sometimes they hit so hard that it like to the
Like you can
bone.
feel it. Yeah, yeah.
The neck of that being snapped off in the
Yeah.
trunk just
Yeah.
God, that hurts.
That was. To be fair though, about that point, I was probably done with it anyway. So
Perfect.
Yeah, it was. It was timing. It was
I
good
didn't want to
timing.
go today anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I'm out. So I did that through like junior high in school and whatnot. And, always kept music around though. It was kind of a thing. So I picked up playing guitar. I was never very good at. And still probably not, but enjoy it. And then really got into bass. I don't know how the transition from guitar to bass happened, honestly. So I played bass, maybe because it was easy from cello to bass. It makes sense. So cello, guitar is
Sure,
more
yeah.
strings, bass less.
I always think of cello as the oversized big brother to the upright
Yeah,
bass.
yeah, or opposite, right? The upright bass is the oversized big brother to the cello.
So the cello is not as big as the upright bass?
Cello's like half the size. Of
Half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But way bigger than a violin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
okay.
3 times the size of a
There you
violin, easily. Anyway, so first bands I was really playing in, I was a bass player, and this is in junior high and high school and stuff, and awful bands, just awful. That's what people do when they're
But you're
just.
doing it.
But we're doing it,
Yeah.
right? And it was a lot of fun and playing shows and VFW hall or people's houses and all that stuff. And this is early 90s, right? So it was a good time. Everybody was into music at this time, right? And then out of high school, I went to Avila, like I mentioned,
Yeah.
and I met my friend Pat Crump, who
Okay.
I loved to death, and we were the only two weirdos at Avila. It was really like we remember freshman orientation. I don't know, he was there for art also, so it's like we saw each other from across the freshman orientation hall where they're making us do like goofy stuff, and we're just like, hey, you're weird too. He had this big afro at the time, and I've got tattoos, and we were just like instantly drawn to each other.
Cool.
And he dropped out a little bit before I did, and but this summer after we both there, so we've been freshman year going into sophomore year, he calls me up and he's like, hey man, you want to play in a band? I'm like, do you play anything? And he's like, I'm learning how to play drums. I got this guy who plays or is in this other band, but he wants to learn how to play guitar and he wants to play too. And so it was my first band down here. It was a band called Pelham 123, and we toured and we did all that stuff. And
Wow.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, loved both those guys. Ryan Radecki, he came from a band called Secular Theme, which was kind of biggish in the underground scene around here. And yeah, that was like really my big like opening me up to leaving the suburbs, getting out and being around other really, I mean, it was like-minded people in the suburbs, sure, but it's different when all of a sudden you're in the city and you're like, you're getting into bars and stuff like that you probably shouldn't be, but nobody cared at that time period.
Right.
It was not like it is now.
No.
Nobody ID'd back then, and playing shows for a couple pitchers and maybe $50, and Fred Piazza was always the place to go if you get paid a little bit and a free meal out of it. And stuff. That's how I know like Steve from Season to Risk. We played a lot of shows with them back in the day, and they were fast friends. So it was a great scene back then. This is like 95-ish and up. Pat, so the band kind of broke up after about 4 or 5 years. Pat moved to Providence, Rhode Island. So there was a big exchange in Kansas City between like Providence musicians and Kansas City musicians. It was really weird, but like David Smith, who plays for Season to Risk now, as the drummer, is also from Providence, and it's part of that whole like Providence has got this really thriving, cool culture, art, music scene up there that just breeds a lot of cool people, and so they came down here. We went up there. It was all that.
Wow.
I think some people. I'm trying to think who still lives down here or who moved up there. Anyway, besides Pat, so I took a bit of a breather and then got into kind of deeper into electronic music and writing stuff on my own after Pat left and the band kind of broke up, and really didn't start another band until. And if I'm telling you too much, I apologize. I don't know how far down the rabbit hole you want me to go.
I mean, the time's yours,
okay.
Right? As Andy Reid likes to say.
Gotcha.
So whatever year I need to be out of here by.
I don't have any.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're good.
Okay. So got into electronic music, started really working on that, put a little project together with some I don't want to name drop, but like people may or may not know them. But Kirsten Paladin, who used to do a lot of bands up here, she's back in Lawrence now, doing a lot of music and stuff. Fantastic musician. Some other people did like a really Portishead type project with her, and had a guy that was scratching, and then another guy that rapped and all this stuff. It was called the Lila Project.
Okay.
That phased out for various reasons. Then other bands pop up. So lots of bands, that lots of projects. Started playing really live again though with a band with her again called Bellwether. And then like Mark Pepperman, who ended up in Republic Tigers, was in that. So it was a proto of that. And then it was also a shared project with the guys from Monta at Odds initially. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
So that's Diedrich Moore, who I recommended to you. He was Monta. He's like him and his brother. Those guys are real close friends of mine, and he'd be great for the show.
Somebody had a Monta at Odds record on their list, and when I
did they? Really?
Yeah, and when I went to like tag them or something in the Instagram post to announce that episode was up, it's like they call themselves something different now.
So yeah, it's there's two projects, and he's gonna be mad if I forget them. Revisor is one, and the Religion of Heartbreak is the other one.
Okay, Revisor.
Sorry, Diedrich.
Revisor is Christoph.
Christoph, right? So he plays with Christoph in Revisor.
Okay.
And then Christoph also played in Religion of Heartbreak for a while.
Okay.
But just too much going on, I think, and so now he's just doing Revisor, and then.
I thought this outfit was back up and running again.
Which one?
Emmeline Twist.
I think they still play every once in a while. Yeah.
He did an episode with me, and not long after that, they were like, "This is our last."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I shouldn't speak to the details, but I think it wound up in hindsight just being a hiatus, and when they came back online, the lineup might look a teeny tiny bit different.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Gotcha.
But I definitely had him, and there was whatever, and then this is our last show, like a year later or something like that. But now I feel like are existing again.
Yeah, I think I did see that they were played another show just recently, right?
Maybe with Revive. I don't know.
It sounds familiar. So Diedrich also runs the whole Cosmic City. Are you familiar with that?
Nope.
It's kind of the we'll call it goth, something, I don't know, post-punk new wave kind of outfit that does a lot of shows at the mini bar and brings a lot of bands in from out of town.
Okay.
Like,
interesting.
Yeah. So I do a lot of artwork, a lot of poster work for like when they do festivals and stuff. I usually do a poster for them. Just did one recently for them for that.
Cool. It's nice that there are folks that are like, I got a guy, and you're the one that they're thinking of.
It's cool, yeah. And I love doing it for him. Like, he's such a good guy, and he's one of my closest friends. And again, that band that I was talking about was a proto Monta. They broke off. I mean, they were already doing Monta, but kind of as an electronic outfit. So I would play like live electronic music, and so would Monta at Odds when they were just him and his brother doing electronic stuff. And we were like competing for the same kind of, but we didn't know each other. Like, I knew they existed, he knew I existed, but then we finally we played a show together, and that's how we met and became kind of friends after that. and actually started a small electronic label together. And this is late '90s, early 2000s.
Wow.
Didn't last very long, but we put out a couple releases, compilations, um, and yeah, it's we've never really played together outside of a couple of times, like I said, trying to practice and put something together. They kind of split. I love Diedrich and Delaney to death, but they, as brothers, they're just they've got like this like click, and so trying to play with them gets really tricky
Yeah.
because they're like they look at each other and they know exactly what they mean, but you're like, I have no idea what you want me to do.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah,
Yeah.
just say it. Yeah, so
you've gigged plenty with other folks in a number of different outfits. You have recorded all really of your San Mateo stuff alone.
yeah.
Have you ever gigged alone?
Or
would that even
as an electronic act?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But not as kind of a mix act, if that makes
Yeah.
like where I brought in like organic instruments with electronics.
Sure.
I've never tried to do that.
How is marketing an electronic solo act? Is it
I haven't done it in a long time, so I don't know where it's at right now. I mean, as far as like trying to play it live. Back there was a time period where it was a little bit easier-ish to do. Like I had a couple weekly Saturday gigs at a place called the Liquid Lounge back in the day that became Lulu's and then became the vegan place downtown. Anyway, that's gone now too. But
that's a killer name.
What,
the Liquid Lounge.
The Liquid Lounge, yeah. It was part of the whole. Yeah, I won't go down into like the history there, but so I did like a Saturday like live electronic setup there every Saturday night. Mostly went well, except when people thought you were DJing and they would be like, "Hey, play a song." I'm like,
I am.
Yeah, 100%. So that was always weird, but I don't know what it's like now.
Folks would come out back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they were starting to come around. I mean, we were a little bit behind the times when it came to electronic music, but then I remember seeing Chemical Brothers at the Uptown, and it almost brought the entire place down. It was so, I mean, the place is packed, and people were. So I think people around that like late '90s, early 2000s were starting to recognize it for what it was, and so things were starting to move. I had a lot of shows where nobody showed up to, but that's just kind of par for the course.
Right.
With anything.
Right. So. Fascinating stuff. I want to get into your list, but I want to hit the restroom real quick.
Yeah, I need to do the same, so that'd be great.
But I'm glad we paused because it made me remember what I had just forgotten when you said if somebody thinks you're DJing and they're like, play a song. You mentioned samples at some point. Mm-hmm. So in some of your material are pieces of other folks' material?
No. I don't sample other, and I have no problem with it. It's just not what I do.
Right.
Like sample other records or something like that. I use snippets of dialogue usually, so that's where my sampling really comes in.
Other people's.
Or atmosphere or something like that. But yeah, other people's dialogue. So like from an old movie, I scour old like... I mean, it could be from a newer movie. I just don't want to get sued, so I try to avoid that. I try to go for stuff that's a little bit more obscure most of the time. If it's so, I've just gigs and gigs of what I call my found sound folder, which is dialogue and other like atmospheric things and stuff like that I've either recorded on my phone. I also have like a Shure mic that I plug into my phone that I can grab stuff off of. Stuff I've found on movies, whatever, that I catalog and folder and whatnot. And so that's what I'm sampling most of the time.
And you never had an issue, run into a thing where you put it out and it's somebody else's thing in there?
No.
Okay.
Hopefully hopefully it's obscure enough to. Although I've heard, it's actually, I don't know if it's the last record, the record before that, a sample that I used recently. So somebody else used the dialogue off of that I did, and I was kind of surprised because it's a pretty deep cut of a psychiatrist conversation with a guy, and
there's that mental health thread.
Yeah, there you go. So I was kind of surprised when I heard that, but yeah.
Now the other piece is you talked about getting on I believe, Spotify to check stats, and then you threw out a couple of terms or organization names, I think, in talking about reviews and stuff like coming to you.
Yeah, so there's so this is when I was on a label. That again is defunct now, unfortunately. But so he had a, it's called Fat Drop is what I think what it's called. It's for labels basically to hand out new releases to radio stations and DJs and tastemakers who will write up stuff and all that and they
Tastemakers is a publication.
no I mean like people as a concept of a person that's like, hey, I'm gonna blow this up because I'm a tastemaker. You know what I mean?
Huh.
I'm the
like
guy
an influencer.
yeah, like an influencer. I guess that's the term. Yeah. So it would go out to like 100 people or so or whatever. You know, each release on the label and then they could kind of do mini reviews on it and give you a star rating or say if they're going to use it and if they are and all this stuff, like if they're going to play it on their show or whatever. And yeah, so I got a lot of my reviews through that. But then those same people were often given the record were also people that were writing for different magazines or web stuff or whatever, and so a lot of it would also end up getting reviewed in other places.
Okay.
Like full reviews in other places. Yeah.
You're not. There's not a place on streaming platforms though where people are like reviewing.
No, not
okay.
really.
It's
no,
either like stars or recommends.
Right,
Not.
yeah.
It's not somebody like.
Yeah, it's kind of closed to unless you have to have an account and after you bring your own people it's just an easy way. Like if you've made a lot of contacts and you want them to hear a new release, then but you bring your own lists with you. It's not something. Yeah. So.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I yes, become. It's cool to be nearing where I'm nearing, but repetition happens a lot.
Right.
I mean, because it's always me. I only have so many. But anyway, copyright stuff, man, just such a drag. Like.
You don't play anything.
Well, but like the JJ Cale one.
Oh, right. You did the clips.
Yeah. And so a regular episode, I'll have, I'll record a little promo separate from our conversation. And so here's a little bit of a bed going into the promo of music, a bed coming out of it, and then a bed to lead into the conversation and a bed to close it out.
Right.
So 4 clips. And I've learned, for the most part, like if I keep it under 9 seconds, I can get away with it. Like nothing happens on the audio plot. It's all YouTube.
Yeah.
But not always.
Right.
And it seems very clear to me that there's a toggle or a lever or options for artists to say, absolutely not. Flag it at all costs, and some that it's like let it ride for 25 seconds and I don't have a problem.
If there is, I've not seen it in all my releases. I've never, and I don't think that because I've self-released as well as, like I said, been on a label, and nobody's ever come to me. I've never had any kind of thing I had to sign or anything like that.
Well,
that
I don't know.
So I don't know how it works either. I'm curious because some of the other YouTube channels, mostly like music YouTube channels, like music production or music talking about music gear is usually what I listen to for YouTube podcasts or whatever, and they're always worried about copyright strikes.
And I just want to be like, I don't not get it. I 1,000% get it. But for you as the artist or you as the stockholder in Apple Music, whatever the thing is, I listened to this piece of music because somebody told me about it.
Right.
It was never going to get that play.
Right.
And then I went and listened to it, and now never has there been an episode where I invite you over and I just trash all 5 of the records.
Right, yeah.
Like
this is shit. What are you doing?
No, you tell me about why it's awesome.
Right,
That's the premise of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, now here's a final product, and I'm putting it in many places for other folks to then check out. And it's like, I'm not asking for anything, but like, don't take away the possibility for this to be monetized in 5 years,
Right.
because I have a 9 second, it's like, dude,
Yeah, it's not like you're sitting there playing a whole song and saying it's your song,
right? Yeah.
That's I don't understand what the levers are to cause it at
Well,
all.
you can appeal. It's like
Right.
I'm already maxed at the hours and the compartments of things to keep this. I can't fight like the JJ Cale one.
Yeah.
Flat 56 samples or clips, and the list was 6 or 7 or 8
Yeah.
of them, and it's like and it's not even going to be viewable in some countries. It's
And
like,
they can completely demonetize your channel if you get enough copyright strikes. Too,
yes,
right?
and I have had none.
Oh, well, that's good.
But 40-50% of all my episodes are
right.
there's a thing.
Potential for
It's not a strike.
Right.
But if this episode ever generates any money,
Right.
it ain't going to you, pal.
Oh,
It's
really?
like, yeah.
Wow, that sucks.
It's like, oh, so the police? You think
Right.
Sting needs my
Yeah.
$1.19?
Well, that's how he sent his kid through college, or I think that's the story, because of P. Diddy's sample of Every Breath You Take.
That's
or something
weird.
like
I
that.
just grabbed the police out of thin air. There wasn't actually a.
Well, he made a ton of money
Of
off
course.
of them sampling him. So
Yeah.
or P. Diddy sampling it.
That pissed me off when that came out. I was like, nobody's talking about the fact that this was like an amazing tune from the 80s.
Right.
They're talking about how awesome this song. It's like,
Yeah.
the skeleton, the framework of it is somebody else's work. Like,
Yeah,
whatever.
and it's not even really well done from a musical perspective either. Like I have no problem with people sampling other records or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just be creative, right? Like it's kind of what you should be. I mean, you're just taking. You might as well just take the whole song at a certain point. Just pay somebody to just. Can I just have the song?
Yeah.
And re-release it.
That freaking clip of Vanilla Ice.
Oh.
No, theirs goes
No, it's
dun
dun-
dun dun
yeah,
dun dun, and ours goes dun 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 dun. It's like you just said the same
I
thing.
know. I love that. That's a classic one.
Oh man.
Which,
Well,
if this was top 10 songs ever recorded, that would be up there as possibly number one. Not the Vanilla Ice version.
Under
but
Pressure?
Under Pressure is one of my all-time favorites.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of those weird dichotomies, I suppose. I mean, I love David Bowie, but I also like Queen, and I don't know, but it's more of a. There's certain songs that just everybody shut up. This song's playing. Just shut up.
Yeah.
You got to listen to it
Yeah.
all the way through.
that's awesome.
Especially David Bowie's part in it when I don't know.
Tell me.
When he just. I'm not a very good singer or unpracticed, at least at this point, but there's a point where he just he swells like before Freddie Mercury comes in on top of
Yeah.
it, and it's just like this breakdown. They did it really. I think it was in Grosse Pointe Blank. There's a scene where he's holding the baby, and they're using that one bit. Anyway, it still gives me chill. Not just the movie, but that part of not the movie, but that song.
Yeah.
Just kills me every time. So I just love it. Great song.
Is
Fantastic.
the swelling like the build of the peak of the crescendo?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're
And
talking.
then Freddie Mercury kind of comes in over top of
Way
it.
high.
Yeah. and
Which I will never in a million years
Yeah.
try to
no,
hit that.
Yeah. So anyway, sidetracking there, but yeah, I love that song.
Fascinating. I mean, I had sort of kind of a greatest hits picture rattling around of the Bowie catalog
Oh yeah.
before I started this,
Yeah.
and just in always the most unexpected of places,
Right.
he would come up,
Right.
and it just really started pushing that rabbit hole to in fact, Christoph,
Oh yeah. I was gonna say.
his list, I mean, is like 5 records from 2 early 80s years. Like the window is just so obvious. Like,
Right.
and so we're, at some point deep into the conversation, we're talking about it, and he goes, I mean, let's be honest, none of any of this happens without Bowie. And I was like, what? And then let it resonate for a little while, and like shit just sort of started coming together, and I was like, God damn, he's right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
really.
Honestly. Yeah.
And then I think Dan Jones and the Squids had a Bowie, maybe Hunky Dory on there and on his list, and similar. And it's like, okay, all right. So I finally did whatever 27 records, his
Oh,
catalog,
did you?
and I
I
went.
didn't know you did that. Wow.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
Just on my own.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Like
Yeah.
I'm, you know,
That's such an eclectic mix.
I'm way
records.
too far
Yeah.
away from being able to
Right.
confidently.
Yeah.
So, but I have made it through once, and you go all the way back to the first is like, it's like Van Morrison-y, like singer-songwriter-y.
Right.
It's like,
Ziggy
whoa.
Stardust. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't remember if it was Dan or somebody else, but it's since made two lists. Was his last one, Black Star.
I love that record.
I have so many experiences getting all the way through to the end, and I knew that there was something. I mean, I had listened to it to prepare for an episode, and it had come up in conversation about some oddities around it coming out and his health and all these kinds of things.
He knew he was.
Yeah.
I mean, that was his final. Yeah.
And so then when I listened to it again, I was like, oh my God. This is like the greatest gift, the perfect way to close this run of all the different lanes that he was in. I mean,
it's such a heavy record, though. It's probably, I mean, it's obviously his heaviest. I mean, not a musical like metal heavy. I mean, like just like emotionally.
Of course,
heavy, record.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. It's I can't listen to it too often. It's one of those.
Sure.
It's dark, I mean, but it's a beautiful record. So,
yeah.
And really one of the best jazz records too in a way. I mean, like it's the people that played on that. I can't remember. My nephew is a big jazz guy, and we've talked. He knows who they are, and they've done other things, but and I should know it too. But are just fantastic musicians as well. So
very, very, very fascinating human being and body of work. One of these days, I'll put together a discography episode, and but thanks again, man, for being here and for sharing your list. And always throw bonus points to people that give me their list in chronological order, because I'm gonna arrange it that way if you don't, and that's how we're gonna tackle it.
That's the way I had to think about it too. I feel like
sure
so it was one of those things.
So 1987, The Joshua Tree, U2, 5th of 15, 11 songs, 50 minutes. It's made a couple of lists as well. A couple of other albums of theirs have made lists as well. Rock Out of Dublin, the intro story for The Joshua Tree for Matthew Naquin.
Yeah, so this goes back to where there's a couple pieces, and you look at it in retrospect, but so when we lived in Philadelphia, some friends up the street, older guys or whatever, super cool. It was the younger brothers who I hung out with, right? But the older brother was like the cool kid, had the total 80s new wave thing. This is before I really kind of understood that, or underground. Anyway, I remember him listening to U2. This is pre-Joshua Tree, but him listening to U2. I was like, what is that? And my friend, who was like a Poison guy or whatever, was all like, "Oh, it's stupid. It's U2. He's a loser or whatever." Anyway, so that always stuck in my head. But then, fast forward a little bit into moving here, almost the same situation. So I moved here, and first guy I kind of became friends with, kid I became friends with here, had an older sister in college, and so he was cool. He seemed cool. And this kid did, and then the older sister was really cool because she was in college, and U2 kind of came back around. So this would have been 87, I think, when this came out, right? And so I instantly kind of was like, oh yeah, I like U2, but I really didn't know them. And then I finally heard Joshua Tree, or pieces of it, probably whatever the single was at the time, and instantly blown away. Like, it was like nothing I'd ever heard before that. Everything was still really I mean, it was definitely radio friendly for the time, but it, to me, it was like the first, I don't know, something about it really touched me. Now, I will say Joshua Tree is not my favorite U2 record, and I'm picking it because I would say it's a catalyst record for me for a bunch of other music that came after it. So that went from Joshua Tree, I go down the rabbit hole of getting into The Church and The Cure and earlier U2, which is fantastic, like Unforgettable Fire. And I mean, I love Joshua Tree. It's a great album, but it's still not my favorite. I think Unforgettable Fire would probably be my favorite of theirs. But all these other bands that came along with it, and then all of a sudden being exposed to 120 minutes and like that era and like college rock before it was called alternative, and when it was still fairly underground, and REM and all this stuff. So that's kind of why I picked this record. Is it is a fantastic record. There is some beautiful musicality on it, and like what's the slow hit with the Ebo? Why am I forgetting it all of a sudden?
On Joshua?
Yeah.
Well, the tracks are on there.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's come on, everybody knows it. Still haven't found With or Without You. Right? Just such a
that opening.
Yeah, that
note.
Yeah, that hangs throughout like
the
whole thing. It's amazing.
And eventually you get that.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful, beautiful record, really. And then when you get into the second half of the record, so the first half is all hits, but that second half, it gets kind of ambient and weird and textural and Mothers Have Disappeared, and you get
Outside of America.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so visceral. And then on top of that, going back to live music experiences. Now I have seen them live, but before I'd gotten to see them live, Rattle and Hum came out. The live, and seeing that as of whatever age, I blown away. Right?
I'm a 74 baby. What are you?
76.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So, yeah. So old men talking about records.
I know you called yourself an old man earlier. I was like, I might have you beat.
I'm surprised. I thought I would be just a bit older for some reason, but I guess it's because I always assume I'm a bit older than everybody else at this point.
Yeah. I always get you don't, and it's like, well, I appreciate it, but it doesn't change.
Yeah. So yeah, Rattle and Hum, and there's a scene in there where they're doing Pride. I'm sure you've seen it. And it's getting to the chorus, and before they turn like the lights on for the audience to sing along, and you don't realize like this is a huge stadium, right? Like stadium full of people, like packed stadium, and they turn the lights on, and the whole audience is singing back, the chorus to Pride, and it gives me chills just thinking about it. And it was like one of those musical moments that I was like, I want to do that.
I remember the seeing previews, trailers for that. And seeing moments like that, I can't say for certain that moment is in the trailer, but it might be.
Might be, yeah.
And immediately being like, I want to be there.
Yeah.
I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
It feels almost my reality and whatever that is. Like it's
like
too far.
Transcendental almost. Right?
Yeah.
But I see what yeah.
Like it's like I'll never. But I also feel like maybe I could one day. And it won't look like that. Like it won't be anyway. But just being like, I had no idea. I had no idea that there could be this sense of unity and energy. Like, whoa, dude, holy shit.
Yeah,
okay,
blew me away. I mean, still, like I said, gives me chills. I haven't watched it in a long time.
You're making me want to watch it right now.
I was. After with this whole project, I was like, man, I should watch that again. I really love that movie. It still holds up. Now there's a few goofy parts where it's like, oh, Bono being Bono or whatever that I recall, but it's still like, it's still good. It's still just, I last time I watched it was probably about 12 years ago or so, and it held up then to me. So I'm it's still
nice. That reminds me of another Louis C.K. clip, one of his all-time greatest clips, where this is a number of years ago. It's not current, but this idea of the right-wing portion of our country being like Christian and like neighborly and loving, and if that were the case, then like, why did we totally hate every element of
Right.
being here when we got here?
Right.
Uh,
That's a good point.
the whole planet, the whole continent was folks walking around like, oh, eating stuff on the ground and then
Right.
fucking and then taking a nap. It's
Yeah.
like, that was every.
Yeah.
And he goes, I mean, there was still people in Mexico cutting the heads off babies and rolling them down. But that's always,
Yeah.
Bono's always going to Bono.
Yeah, exactly. I do have a strong feeling that after Octoon Baby, they were all killed in a car crash, though, or maybe a plane wreck, and just body doubles since then. Because I
Stop.
I'm making that conspiracy up, but they become such parodies of themselves post Octoon Baby that.
Well, that's where I drifted is a conservative term. I was like, okay with Octoon Baby, but the one after that, I was like, now I'm hard pass.
Yeah, same.
And
With every consecutive album, it gets more and more like, man, I can't go back to this.
I never got back in,
Yeah.
so I can't speak really to any of the stuff since then. But I was like, dude, and it's fine that they did with it. But the War and the October and the Boy and the Unforgettable and this and like, dude, it was just, you were just new ways of killing it.
Yeah.
And then you did a different thing, and but
well,
I'm out.
Like I said, I feel like they became parodies of themselves at a certain point. They're just like, we're just going to write the stuff that people think we should sound like. Is that, and that's, they stopped taking chances.
That's a 180 degrees from Pride.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And what, like, tell me about the kernel of bringing that song into existence.
Right.
All the way to whatever the people think. It's like, no.
Yeah. I will say, I've seen him twice. I saw him on the Octoon Baby tour at Kemper Arena, which was great because of Sugar Cubes and Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy.
Wow.
Were the openers.
What a bill.
Yeah, right? I mean, that's insane. So that blew my mind. Awesome, fantastic show, even in Nosebleed where I was. I did see them again, the one and only other time, when they did the Joshua Tree
anniversary.
30 year, was it the 30 year at Arrowhead? Did you see that show?
I saw them at Arrowhead for, it was either the Octoon or the Zoo.
Well, Octoon was Kemper, so it would have been maybe Zoo.
I mean, there was it was fucking wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, so no, I did not see the anniversary one, but I've talked to folks that have, or did.
I thought it was fantastic. Yeah. My wife, not really a U2 fan, but does have me like losing my shit for every song and like singing along and doing whatever. And that's not me usually. I'm a pretty laid back guy, I would say, but she was loving the fact that I was so into it because it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was, it all of a sudden it was them again, and it felt like, oh, we're going back.
Yeah.
And then they released another album, and then like, oh, I guess we're not, but hey, that was fun. I'm glad we did that. So.
Oh man. So from 87 to 93. The Afghan Wigs and Gentlemen. This is 4th of 9, 11 tracks, 49 minutes. Yeah. From Ireland to Cincinnati with some post-punk / alternative. A first for the podcast in terms of this record and the artist. Why is this one earn a spot for you?
First off, it should be on everybody's. Honestly, or should be up there. Everybody should know this record.
Okay.
This is one of the best records of that 90s era that got lost in the grunge shuffle. Because it's not a grunge record at all. It's more like soul,
but it's
punk.
Right in the middle, when that's happening.
Yeah, exactly. It's a dark record, and it hits kind of at a time where I was in a dark place.
Okay.
It was like it lined up really well, and not everything. The theming and all that is not everything I'm proud of, but it really kind of reflects that time period of my life pretty well, where it's just like the romance of the teenage youngness starts to wear off, first relationships fall apart. I got pretty heavy into drugs, so all of these themes were like really being reflected back into this record for whatever reason. So it just hit that time really well for me. It's amazing. I mean, Greg Dully, from such a amazing lyricist. I mean, he knows how to turn a phrase better than a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, and I wish more people like they deserve. Now, this is another instance of before, after that, I'm not as much of a fan. This is the record.
Okay.
I own other stuff of theirs, but this is the record.
Okay.
If you were to just listen to one Afghan Wigs record, this is the one. And again, like I said, I don't know why it doesn't make. It's almost like a secret handshake record now. Like with other people that know it, it's like, oh yeah, you know that record too. So I unfortunately missed them when they played at Record Bar a few years back. I really wish I would have, because they don't tour through very often. But yeah, just, I won't get too into like the theming of it too much. It is really like, for those who've listened, I mean, I've been on both sides of that. It's just about not knowing who you are, being fucked up, being on drugs, being on both sides of a bad relationship, or saying the right things to make people like you, women like you, in this sense or whatever, but still being an asshole, just shit like that.
Yeah.
Years of therapy that I had to go through to kind of get past that part of my life, I would say. But it's a good record. Yeah.
You didn't waste much time calling it dark, and the same was true for Bowie's Black Star. But these are different flavors of dark.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, one is, well, I mean, maybe. I mean, they're both existential in their own right. I think one is more young existentialism, where you're, whereas Bowie is end of life, like, knowing that you don't have much time. This is kind of being like a wild animal, but trying to reel it in, I think, with the Afghan Wigs.
Okay.
With this record specifically. It's just, now Greg Dully might make fun of me for thinking any of this stuff. This is just my interpretation of it. But I've met other
He's the
people.
one that wrote that best review ever.
Yeah,
just
probably,
to fuck with
just
you.
To fuck with you. I heard what you said. Take this. Yeah. I mean, it was a different time period for sure. I mean, it's all about just like bad relationships going bad, and just, cheating on both sides, and just being shitty people to each other. And again, also about heavy drug use and all that stuff. So
nice.
Beautiful. I know I'm making it sound not beautiful.
No,
but
no,
it's such
no.
a beautiful
I
record.
totally, I mean, when I started this, I had a different job, and my boss was like, who actually did an episode with me. It was a lot of fun. He said, I'm not as interested in where people were when they got turned on to this record, or who turned. I'm more interested in the emotional.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, that's helpful. A lot of the early was just like, I wouldn't know what I'm doing. It's shifted a bunch, and I kind of only now I'm like, okay, I've found my cruising altitude. But I was like, I really appreciate that, and how do I get that out of them? Like, it's everybody's different. Some are more willing and ready, and some don't even know themselves. Right. So I appreciate the way that you're painting it, regardless.
Well, I told you I was nervous kind of coming into this, because I'm not one to really talk about myself. I'm a pretty big introvert for the most part. And so I had this conversation in my head a few times, like, how am I going to describe it? Now, it didn't come out anything like I thought it would, but because I thought I could describe it better. But even like the cover, I mean, the cover is painting like a very... I don't know how much time you got to spend with it. Maybe you just got one listen with it. And I'd be curious. I feel like it doesn't age, but I could be wrong about that. Maybe it sounds dated, but to my ears, it doesn't sound like a record that came out in '93.
It very much sounds like a record that came out in '93. It also very much sounds like a record that came out in 2023.
Right.
So yes, but no.
Yeah, I could see that.
You said you channeled two 80s movie lines in talking about this secret handshake. Immediately I go, oh, I forget the secret knock,
Right,
Vern
yeah.
from Stand By Me.
Yeah, yeah.
And then just a moment ago, how am I gonna Anthony Michael Hall in Breakfast Club when he's got the pin on his lip and he's who
Oh
are
yeah.
you? Who's trying to write the essay?
Classic movies, both of them.
A 1 year leap to 1994 with Portishead's Dummy.
Yeah.
This is first of three, 11 tracks, 49 minutes. They back across the pond. Now we're in Bristol, England. This one's made a list or two, and their live record made a list as well. Some long-standing love for an artist that only made 3 records. I don't want to say that is a wide swath of folks, but it's a swath.
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
I don't know other people's story, right?
Of course.
I'd also say that this is like Joshua Tree, kind of a catalyst record for me. Although I adore this record. Portishead is one of my all-time favorite artists ever.
Wow.
I think if I were to pick one of their 3 records, I honestly think 3 is the one I would probably show people first, which is probably the opposite of most people. I'm not trying to be different or weird, but it's actually a fantastic record that doesn't get enough love, and more people should listen to it. It also is, and I'll go back to this in a second, but it's also. So I don't know if you're familiar with the band Beak, which is the drummer and producer Jeff Burrows. It's his kind of other band that kind of spun off Portishead. You can definitely hear the influence from 3 to Beak, and you can see kind of where he's going.
How much?
He just quit Beak, but
How much time between 3 and the first Beak?
I don't know.
Couple
That's a
years?
good question. Maybe barely any time at all.
Okay.
Honestly, he might have been even working on Beaks.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
And I just don't know. Also, I got to see them live on that 3 tour, which was one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Where?
In Boulder.
What venue?
I don't know. Named after a credit card or a bank.
Oh,
or something.
funny. Okay. Yeah. They're the Fox in Boulder. For the longest time, it was like there was 2. I mean, there were more than 2, but like in the 80s and 90s, it was like if you were playing one of those 2 gigs in Boulder, you were
Okay.
making it. You're making it.
This is 2010.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sure what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AT&T Pavilion.
Something like anyway, blew my mind. Had floor tickets. It was just beautiful.
Did you go out there for that show?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah. I flew in a snowstorm to go see that show. Like it was amazing, and my first time in Boulder too. So
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So, but going back to Dummy, so obviously I'm into music. I had some a big understanding of electronic music to some degree before Dummy was handed to me. I was probably more.
I would say more than most.
Maybe,
Perhaps more than most.
Yeah. Also kind of into industrial music and stuff too, like obviously 9 Inch Nails, but there's Fetus and Ministry and other stuff of that era, right? So I was into electronic music. I had an open mind to it, plus obviously Wendy Carlos, like we talked about earlier, and all that, and Vangelis, and so soundtracks. Anyway, a buddy of mine gave me a taped copy of Dummy, and he's like, you should check this out. I think you'd really like it. And I absolutely adored it. And he said, well, I've got more for you if you want. And then, so this is 94, 95. So all of a sudden...
Your own personal guy at the record store.
Yeah, pretty much.
Check this out.
I don't know where he was getting it from. And I was thinking about this as I was kind of gearing up for this. I'm like, where did he get it? Where did he come up with this stuff? Because... we're all a bunch of poor
have
kids
him on the
living in the
podcast.
suburbs. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him, unfortunately.
Okay.
But, anyway, so with Dummy came, again, there's another Catalyst record. So PJ Harvey, Massive Attack.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these bands, like different kinds of electronic bands from the UK and the US, DJ Shadow, like Bonobo. Like, so all of a sudden I'm getting, just all this other stuff starts. Actually, Bonobo would be a bit later, but but you know, I can't remember Prodigy, you know, just like all this stuff. So he like gave me like a tape cassettes like sleeve with all these things. Poe, uh, gosh, I can't remember. It was like all this stuff, and then that sent me down a totally different rabbit hole to where I became deeply involved in electronic music and deeply
Cool.
into all of it and the whole culture around it, and went out and saved my money and bought my first sampler, and you know, like started to get, and I was probably sampling other people's records at that time, and really getting into it, started going to raves and started doing all that stuff. And I wasn't like candy kid with the big pants or anything like that. I wasn't, but I loved the community aspect of
Sure.
it. Like me and a couple other friends would go, and you know, we'd dance and have a good time, and you know, weren't really involved in the rave scene per se, but we would still love it. And yeah, I mean, even when I was in that Pelham 123, you know, a couple of years, I remember I'd leave a show to go down to the Granada, because the Granada would on Friday nights would do like not live elect, but DJs like house music and stuff like that, and the place would be packed. So I'd be done with that show and go and hang out at the Granada until
Yeah.
like 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever they closed it down
Yeah.
for, you know. And uh,
When I'm doing the radio show, and I'm like every week, kind of in my walking sleep, I'm queuing up what next week's episode's going to sound like.
yeah,
But it's gotta have a flow,
right,
just like
absolutely.
your
A good record.
track listing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and also like I gotta, no matter how much energy or thought I put into this, I have to be willing to scrap it all, because I don't know what my 10 new tracks are going to be.
Right.
So I got to be able to pivot. There was a various artists release that came out, and it was like all of this, and I was like, I want to exist in this space, but it's not really scratching the itch for me.
Right.
And there was a track that I just could not get away from on there, and it was called Six Underground. It was by Sneaker Pimps,
Yeah.
and I was like, that I love more of that, but
Yeah.
it was like Chemical Brothers and Propellerhead and Portis and all these things, and I'm like pinballing, and I was like, I want to find my magic shoot that gives me,
Right.
but I don't. And then DJ Shadow, here it is.
Yeah.
And I,
Introducing.
oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. Such a good record.
Well, and I spent a bunch of time with it, and then I was like, okay, let's see. And it's like the two others that were both out before that, Private Press,
Oh, yeah.
and
Was there another one before Private Press?
maybe it was after Introducing, but
Yeah.
amazing, super super good. And I was like, this is, so that was my lane. I was like, I kind of just was in the DJ lane for a little bit.
So did you get into like Dan the Automator and that whole world?
No,
Okay.
I kind of fumbled around for a little bit. I was like, okay, it's going to be DJ Crush. And I was like, oh, it turns out only like a couple tracks from him. And, but Shadow I stuck with, and you know, his record collection,
Yeah.
it's probably the last I saw, which was a decade ago, it was like 64,000 plus.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
But anyway, I just there's so many pieces of so many of the tracks on Introducing that are like forged. You know, like there's a like a keyboard riff, and then
Organ
some
donor.
string comes in behind it,
Yeah.
and then there's like the old man parking tickets, you know, that whole thing, and then there's it is happening again. Just so many, but I actually just like a week or 10 days ago did a real quick scan of it, and I was like, I could have my promo in out intro outro for 4 months, just taking
Bits of absolutely.
tunes from that record.
Yeah.
Just I don't know, I hate to masterpiece it, but it's pretty goddamn
It
good.
really. I mean, it's such a cliche thing. It changed the game, but it really did. I mean, it honestly. I mean, he was obviously influenced by a lot of people around him, but it is a masterpiece record. It's a perfect record front to
Yeah.
back. It almost made this. It's one of those, but I didn't hear it first, right? So
Right.
Dummy came
Yeah.
first, and so.
I'm sorry if I totally
Oh no,
cut
no,
you off.
no, you're fine. That's why I pulled that in, was because it got me to introducing, and it got me to so many other
Yeah.
artists, and that was such a great time for electronic music too, because it was before it got really genrefied, and it's like, well, you're a jungle artist, and you're doing trip hop, none of those terms really existed quite yet.
Yeah.
Right? It was just like everybody was just doing their thing and whatever they were influenced by, and then it later gets broken down
Yeah.
into these little micro genres or whatever.
I think where I really landed, and it didn't end up meaning that I stayed in this lane from Shadow, was Mark Farina, DJ who Mushroom Jazz is his, which is just, I mean, it did 8 installments of it, and it's
Is
all
it local?
no,
Oh, okay.
no.
It sounds familiar, but I can't quite put it.
All his stuff, it was on Ohm Records, OM, and he's just real,
Sounds super familiar.
like, just, he was born with the knack for finding grooves.
Right.
That really, like, if you don't hear that and want to get up out of your chair and shake your hips a little
Right.
bit, just talk to your doctor. But and then for a long time there's a series called This Is Acid Jazz.
Okay.
And it made like 7 or 8 installments of that, and it was just like that, here's Mr. Electric Triangle and all 100 new artists of like, okay, now there's too much. Like, I need to clone myself if I'm ever gonna.
I would, being on the jazz thing, that's also probably where I started to really. My dad was into jazz, so it was, I'd hear it every once in a while in the house or whatever. But that's, I think, where I really started, outside of like, Charlie Brown, which I'm a huge fan of. Why his name is escaping me right now.
Vince Guaraldi.
Thank you. I say I'm a huge fan. I don't know him outside of the piano song, to be honest with you. I mean, I do have those on vinyl, though, both the Christmas and the Halloween one. Anywho, but these types of things, DJ Shadow, all that, also probably really, I don't know that what you're talking, it sounds familiar, but I'm just not placing it. Lots of music through the years, I suppose, but it got me into jazz too, like really kind of deeper into jazz. And
sure,
some of my friends that were doing similar things in electronic music were even further down the jazz road, and kind of got me more into it too.
But so, I'm talking acid jazz, okay, which is not.
No,
I mean, it's
I know what you're.
Funk and sampley and dance, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So.
Side note, do you ever get into and I know you're going to move on, so I apologize, but I just went down this road the other day. Library music from like the 60s and 70s. It's a lot of that funk and jazz kind of. It was the same people made like a lot of the same records, and they were used for like TV shows and movies and stuff as like. Kind of no-name music backgrounds type stuff, but it's all like super good.
No, however, somebody had on their list, it's like, it was a Muzak record.
Okay.
And it was, I was like, what? Because I know what that is, but I actually didn't know what that was. Right. And
was it from the same era, like 60s, 70s?
Yeah, and it's there. You can find them. They're all like cataloged by year, blah blah blah, and it's elevator music, but it's like legit outfits recording. Sometimes other people's stuff. Sometimes it's traditional. But like I think I heard. This dude's, the one he had on his list, I think there was a cover of Feel So Good, Chuck Mangione.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know, but I was like, what? And so I started poking around. I was like, oh my God, there is a bunch of this, if ever a rainy day.
Go down that YouTube rabbit hole on library music. It's probably all connected to the same people. And I just scratched the surface, like I said recently.
I listening to the one that he had in his list, I went everywhere that time would allow me to go, trying to find personnel.
Right.
And I was like, where are the fucking liner notes for this album?
Right.
This is a disservice to those folks.
Well, I think that was a lot of it. Like, and that's like I said, if you go down the YouTube, that was the point. They were kind of, it was a lot of times it was the same producers, same musicians they'd come together and do these tracks, and they were like I said, library music, or probably for use for music, which was just background music, so in the style of whatever, for movies and television, and probably elevators too, right?
It wasn't Feel So Good. It was Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh, nice.
I'm listening to this, and all of a sudden, and I wasn't. Sometimes I'm multitasking, so even my one listen isn't like fully dedicated.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm just all of a sudden. I was like, wait a minute, what are we doing right now?
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I thought we were doing, and it was dope.
Yeah.
I was like, this is cool.
Oh man, that's really cool. What episode is that? I kind of want to check.
Yeah, it's Waxtron was his name. I mean, that's his Instagram handle. Okay. It's right up there in the 150s, Josh.
I can look back. One thing great about your website is that you can kind of see what people pick.
Right.
So if it's in 150s, I can kind of circle around it.
And if let's see, let me just Waxtron send. Yeah, if you, the website is great for a lot of reasons, but if you go to the 3 bars, there's a podcast page,
right?
And that'll pull up like I don't know, 20 or 25.
Okay.
So you can just, and then there's an older, and it'll go to the next 25.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I think it's got the thumbnails. Is that the?
Yeah, but so like if you just go to the website,
okay.
It's just like the most current one is there,
right?
And to go to the next one, it's a tap,
right?
And the next one's a tap.
Yeah.
But there's like home, about, merch, podcast. So if you go podcast, you can get a big.
Okay.
So you're saving yourself taps.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, I can nerd out on music talk all day long.
Awesome.
So
1997.
Yeah.
F sharp, A sharp, infinity, right?
Yeah.
Godspeed You, Black Emperor.
Yeah.
First of 8. 2 chaptered tracks. 38 minutes. Another first. This time it's Canadian post rock out of Montreal. Lots of fascinating album title names for an outfit who also has a fascinating name. What tickled your curiosity about them, and how'd you grow to love this one?
So it's not their first record, but it's close to, I believe.
What did I say?
I don't know. What...
Oh, I
did you say it was their
I
first?
said it was their first.
Maybe it is.
I might be wrong.
No, you're probably right.
But they all got unique names. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, yeah. I can't remember. You're probably right though. Anyway, you did the research so more recently than I did. So
I don't like to throw around the R word because we don't have scientists and a case study and a variable.
Do your research, man.
Yeah. I did the Googling.
Yeah, exactly. But you Googled it much more recently than I did.
Fair.
So yes, you're probably right. I get a couple of them confused sometimes. But this is the record to me of theirs. So it's the one that it's the first time I had ever heard anything like that. So the band I was in, going back to Pelham. So again, I'm sticking in a very similar time frame with all this. So I'm still in this band called Pelham 123, which was noisy, instrumental, kind of heavy, but also quiet, loud, quiet, in a similar vein to this band, but this didn't know. So we were post-rock adjacent, but that term really hadn't been thrown around. Nobody, just like any genre, right, doesn't really have a term until somebody creates it for it. So everybody's just doing music at this point. Anyway, so my friend Pat, who was in the band with, somehow he found this record and he played it for me, and I instantly fell in love. I mean, they do that, especially on this record, that loud, quiet, loud thing in such an emotional and evocative way that's really ahead of its time. And the album is, looking back, with 30 years later or whatever, not quite 30 years, it's such a prophetic record. I don't know how much you got a chance to listen to it, but the opening, there's an opening monologue, and so I will also say you can tell how much it's influenced me over even the San Mateo stuff and how much I've made music over it. There's many elements that I've ripped off probably, not intentionally, but so influenced by it that it's definitely fallen into my category of musical language that I use for my own stuff, right? But the that prophetic opening about the sky's on fire, all twisted metal. I mean, this is pre 9/11, so it's almost like this, almost like I said, it almost has this like I keep using the word prophetic, but it's the only word that can come to mind that really like hits it, and then it just swells into this just beautiful, not orchestral, not rock, not I mean, ambient, but it moves, and I saw him tour this album too.
Really?
I saw him in Columbia,
Missouri.
Yeah,
Blue Note.
Yeah, at the Blue Note, exactly.
Great venue.
Great venue. Yeah, fantastic. And it was right before, so it's post 9/11. Maybe it wasn't this record then, because that would have been way later, right? This is 97, you said?
Which I think is maybe the same year Introducing came out. Maybe 96 for Introducing.
96 for Introducing. So maybe it was a different record I saw them touring on, but they opened with that same.
Oh, cool.
That same thing. So it was post 9/11. It was right before the Iraq. It was like the day before we were about to start the Iraq war.
Oh, wow.
So it was like this really intense.
Were there folks at the show?
What's that?
Did folks come out to see them?
It was a packed show. Yeah, it was amazing, and I blown away by them. Just for being an instrument. I mean, half the band sits down. I mean, you would think that for a band that mellow that it wouldn't be so intense, but it's absolutely one of the most intense bands I've ever seen live.
Do you ever fuck around with Sound Tribe Sector 9? No,
not familiar.
Different part of the jam band community, but everybody's more or less playing an instrument and has a laptop.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Fucking wild.
Can you send me that as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'd like to check that out.
Just about to go to Iraq.
Yeah, just about. So it was this really intense show, and Ephraim, the main writer, I guess you would say in quotes, even though there's like 9 people in the band. He would do these little bits and pieces in between, that were fairly political. I mean, they're kind of a political band for being an instrumental outfit. They're
fascinating.
Yeah. Not. So he had another project that was even more so. That was a little bit, even for my sensibilities, like, okay, guys, the in between the song banter was like a little just too much. It's like, I get it, we're all on the same side here. Anywho, there's also the second song on this, or is it the third? Have you ever seen the original? The 28 Days Later. The movie 28 Days Later? Oh.
No.
Oh, really?
Never even heard of it, I don't think.
It's a zombie in quotes movie.
Oh.
They're now doing 28 Years Later. They just did 28 Years Later and then 28 Weeks. Anyway, the other two I don't know anything about. The first one is really the one, I think. There's a scene in that movie. It takes place in London, and very similar to the Walking Dead premise way before it, because the guy just gets out of the hospital and all of a sudden I'm quoting in quotes zombies because they're not really zombies, but it also starts like the fast zombie thing too. Anyway, but there's a scene in there where it's Godspeed You Black Emperor is the music for it, and he's just on a bridge and it's downtown London or whatever in the background, and it's empty and it's desolated and just it's just this perfect apocalyptic backdrop music for the end of time, which is just a weird thing to say, I guess, but it's a very intense record. It's a very beautiful record, and it's very, like I said, I'll repeat myself over and over, but prophetic in so many ways.
One thing I meant to, it only matters for the nerd language guy inside me, but the fucking exclamation point is just like, what do you know? I meant to
I
look
have no idea, and I
because it's for
spell it
those that
wrong
don't.
so many times because it's Godspeed you exclamation point Black Emperor,
Yes,
but on this one, the exclamation point's at the end. So I think it
it's.
changes.
I think folks have just.
Put it in the wrong.
Yeah,
I've put it in the wrong space.
I think it goes after the U.
Yeah.
And then you get in some of their later titles, and it's like God apostrophe S P'd.
Oh, I haven't seen that actually.
The title of one of their
Oh,
later
the latest one of the
Godspeed.
Yes. Right.
They're fucking around.
Yeah.
So anyway, fascinating. Yeah, it's different, similar but different imagery that you just described in I Legend.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, except he's driving around listening to Bob Marley,
Right.
and the backdrop is, which like is the only sort of redeeming thing. Everything
Right.
else is desolate and
Right.
abandoned and Bob. But if his radio was not on to be listening to Bob Marley, that would work.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. It's been a long time since I do like that movie, except for the dog thing. But that's
Yeah.
That thing gets me.
It's rough, but I
Yeah.
mean, holy cow,
Yeah.
man, just wild.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to show it to my kids, but I don't want to be responsible for nightmares. Either.
Right. Have you seen any of that? Because there's the Vincent Price version of that movie.
Oh,
It wasn't called I Am Legend every time, but there's different versions of that movie that have come out from the same story that have redone.
no, I
feel
didn't
like
know.
they redid it again recently. and
Really?
Called it something else. I mean, I think so. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, I feel
Wild.
like that. I only know the I Am Legend, the Will Smith version, but I'm aware of the others that exist out there. Yeah.
I was saving that bacon.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
Uh,
So our last stop.
As a side note, though, if you like that, you really should see 28 Days Later.
Okay.
You can ignore the other ones.
Okay.
But 28 Days Later is really the one to see.
We leave the 90s and we
Briefly.
land in 2001 for Radiohead's Amnesiac. 5th of 9, 11 tracks, 43 minutes. You went 4 out of 5 in selecting non-American artists. And for this one, we end up in Abingdon, Oxfordshire, England. Done the discography episode with Sammy Sanchez, which was 113. I have had the Bends, OK Computer, In Rainbows, and A Moon-Shaped Pool all make lists. But I believe this is a first for Amnesiac. What makes this Radiohead release special to you?
So I almost cheated on this one. And I know you said 5 should be my max, so I kept it that way. I know you're pretty lenient on that 5 max, but I try to stay within the confines. So I almost chose Kid Amnesiac, which they just re-released, which is both of them combined, because it was a toss-up between Kid A and Amnesiac, which one I would pick. But I went with Amnesiac because of the spirit of the project, right?
Okay.
For one, and for two is it is really my favorite. Like, if I were to tell anybody which one's my favorite, it's going to be Amnesiac every time of all the Radiohead discography. I keep going. I've pretty struck a chord here, but it's the darkest of all their records, in my opinion. It's the heaviest. People could argue with that one. I'm sure people will, right? I'm sure I'll get people yelling at me or something. I don't know, but people are passionate about Radiohead.
I mean, it's why, I think it's still, for the huge fans, they're on a different level, but I think it's still setting in with a lot of people that they, for all intents and purposes, might be done.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they're playing shows all of a sudden.
Are they?
Yeah, they just did they're doing a mini tour in Europe right now.
Okay.
But that kind of shocked me because I assumed them to be done at this point.
It's been a minute.
Yeah,
since
I feel like Moon-Shaped Pool is a final album. Feels like a final album. Sounds like a final album to me. It's not my favorite. It's not the album I wish they would have gone out on necessarily. But if that is it, that's good for them. They've they're one of the most prolific, most interesting bands that have existed in the last 30 years, in my opinion. Now, I almost put OK Computer on here also. That was
Okay.
a toss up because of that's my catalyst record for Radiohead. But I think for Radiohead specifically, Amnesiac is the one. Like I love Kid A, and this is such a great sister record to Kid A, and I think really it's like now you're kind of like comparing songs to see like, but Pyramid Song I think is one of the most beautiful songs ever written, and definitely my favorite Radiohead song.
Wow.
It's a musician's song in a lot of ways because it's such odd timing. Like you have to kind of really count and pay attention. So people will argue about what time signature that song's in, like because some people say no, it's really 4/4. You're just counting it wrong. Some people are like no, it's like it's all feel. It's not in a specific. Anywho, plus you've got that dirge at the end of the album. That's just like that jazzy kind of dirge like funeral song almost at the end. Now, if I recall from the radio discography, you might not be a Radiohead fan necessarily, or kind of not your favorite band, one of your favorite bands.
I'm glad you recall because I don't recall
just
much.
To that
it's fresh.
Recently, yeah.
So I had a buddy that was like all about the Bends. Obviously,
Yes.
I knew Creep from and
Sure.
probably bought Pablo Honey because of it. And he, and I was like, this is not doing anything for me. It wasn't until, and that was the late '90s. Mid late '90s. It wasn't until the Bends made somebody's list,
Right.
and maybe it's made two, but the first time it made a list, I was like, holy shit, the back half of this record is really fucking good.
Yeah, back half is what Street Spirit is.
I think perhaps,
Yeah.
but it definitely in the way that it ends, I was like, I can see the bridge
Right.
from the Bends to OK Computer. OK Computer was life changing. I mean, for me, in terms of like, oh, okay, now I get it. We're also talking about some really fascinating human being existential stuff,
yeah.
and the music is leading the charge or bringing the carriage. I don't know which is which, but it's all working really well. And I went through this breakup that was like, very long time crush,
Right.
like heavy duty
Yeah.
crush, and then it ended up in a relationship with this person,
Right.
and was like, oh, this is
Forever.
yeah,
And,
1,000%.
yeah.
And then it derailed very dramatically and very rapidly, and I didn't know like how I was gonna learn to walk again.
Right.
And it just so happened that there was a fresh copy of this CD in our house,
Right.
and it was my crutches for the summer.
Right.
Literally, I mean that and alcohol and drugs, like.
I've been there.
But I was like, wow, man, yeah. And then I went somewhere else. I went, I'm doing the deed, Shadow and Farina, all this other stuff, and it just was what I didn't even like know that there were other Radiohead records until they'd been out for a while. And I remember being like, oh, okay, and hit a same buddy that was like the Bends way back then gave me Kid A, and he gave me a copy of Tom York's
Racer.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I was like,
that
"What the fuck is this?"
Oh yeah, it's probably a bit of a different. Did you not like it? Or?
I was like, "What? No. Turn it off, take it out.
Yeah.
I want the OK Computer sequel."
Yeah.
And so I just was like, "That's okay." And then only until like I would need bare minimum to give Amnesiac and Kid A 2 more listens apiece.
Yeah.
In order to say anything that's worth a shit.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
I a lot of respect for Radiohead.
Sure.
I don't
think
have.
a lot of people had the same feeling you did with Amnesiac and Kid A, or Kid A specifically, because it was the first of the two, right? That when it dropped, people were like, "What the fuck is it?" I even think I might have been like, I can't remember, but I don't think it hit me right away. I was like, I don't understand. It's okay, I guess, but I was in the same. OK Computer was this
I mean, it's
seminal
like
record to me.
an
That was
entire amusement park of emotions, the rides of which I have ridden many times.
yeah,
But I didn't know that there could be joy in those
right.
emotions, and that's what OK. And then it's like, well, you want me to now? You want me to like think
Yeah,
about the things that it's all foreign. I don't know.
yeah,
Timing is something.
yeah, yeah. I I would recommend, if you ever get the time, to really sit down with them. I mean, and just listen to them back to back.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Kid A, Amnesia, Kid A.
Now, in Rainbows, I've given some time to, and I have seen high praise from a number of different
It's a great album.
people that I know, and and I get it. Like, I still don't know that album really well,
Yeah.
but I know it better than a lot of the other ones.
Yeah.
And first listen, I was like, they still, I don't know, what are we doing?
Right.
And then I was like, oh man, okay. So I'm sure it's in there. I just haven't.
I think that's really post. I mean, even OK Computer, when it first came out, I'm sure people. I mean, that opening weird riff, and if you're not, if you're just thinking about the Bends or Creep or whatever, and that comes on, people are probably, what the fuck is this?
They must have had 4 lineup changes.
Yeah,
It's
right.
all new people.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure a lot of people probably felt that way about OK Computer. It just hit at the right time for a lot of us, that were like, oh, because I was not really a big fan of them. I mean, they were there, and I liked a few of the songs, but until OK Computer came around, I wasn't really a fan. That I have a very different experience in that summer. I know exactly what summer you're talking about, because it's a highlight for me, but in more of a positive way. Unfortunately, I mean, but in reflection to you, I'm sorry that mine was more of a positive reflection of that summer. But yeah, no, it's yeah. Look at me just talking about other records other than what I picked. But maybe I should have picked OK Computer.
No. I'm glad. I'm definitely. And what I'm just finished writing down is Kid A, Amnesiac back to back, and I'm going to make some notes. And
that's why they. I mean, you could just download the Kid Amnesiac instead, which is just.
I didn't know that they did that until.
It was just recently. It was been the anniversary or something.
I didn't know they were touring. They have been more than one of them. Maybe Tom and Johnny have had a.
Yeah, they have the Smile, which is their side project band together.
Okay.
Which, it's good. I don't know why I can't get into it. I want to get into it, but it just doesn't hit me. Other people I know love it, think it's great.
Huh.
It's what you would want from Radiohead, is what I keep hearing. But it just doesn't hit for me.
Well, really fun list.
Thank you. This was fun.
Appreciate you doing it.
Yeah.
In the previous episodes that you have listened to, did you stay through to the end?
I did.
All right, so
I'm a little prepared.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right. It's better when folks
I know. I'm
tune
sure
out.
it is.
It's all right
Yeah.
though. I gotta. This has happened once or twice recently, so now I'm like, I just got to a spot because I was trying to. What are the questions going to be in?
Yeah.
I like the 5 that I use.
Yeah.
But now
Are
I
you
need.
gonna change them around?
Well, I need to figure out an audible.
Oh yeah.
For somebody that knows,
Yeah.
and hit them with different ones
Sure.
so that they can't be prepared.
Yeah.
But nothing wrong with being
I'm
prepared.
not fully prepared, but I know a little bit.
Okay, so 5 goofy questions to close it out. The first is, you get to have coffee with anyone of your choosing, dead or
This is the one I'm
alive.
prepared for. Yeah.
Who and why?
Leonard Cohen.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
So it was between him and Bill Hicks. So going back to the
Oh wow.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like Leonard Cohen would be. I always said for a long time I considered Leonard Cohen my spirit animal.
Cool.
He's. I mean, from a philosopher to a poet to a musician, to just dripping with just cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like he's not trying. He was never, he's not like, I'm cool, look at me. He's never like that. He was like, I'm a Zen
Not
Buddhist who likes
James
to wear
Dean,
a suit. Yeah, yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah.
so handsome. Do you like my jacket?
Right. And I think the fact that he lived so long too, in
Right.
such a great age, that I mean, the wisdom and how much he'd seen, how much
Yeah.
he experienced.
Now, you're the producer and the director for this cup of coffee. So are you going to fanboy out, or are you going to try and just have a random human
I'm gonna try to have random.
Okay.
Probably the first 5 or 10 minutes, I'll fanboy out a little bit, but I think honestly, I would just want to have really just a good conversation with him.
Cool.
He seems like a guy that you could have good conversation with.
Cool.
And just, I don't need to know this. And just tell me what you learned about life, man.
Yeah.
You know, assuming you're gone and you get to come back for you've been on the other
Yeah.
side,
Yeah.
or whatever, if there is, you know, whatever, and you come back and you get to be like, hey. So tell me about everything, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of, that'd be the thing. He'd be the guy.
Louis' last special was called Sorry, but the one before it is called Sincerely.
Okay.
And I believe that's his. I mean, I love all of his specials, but I think that's the best.
Okay.
He's just so, the bits are all so good. He's got one in there about being an atheist and finding out that you're wrong when you get to heaven. It's a hard wrong.
Right.
Oh, fuck. With the beard and everything.
Right.
I'm going.
I'm out. Damn it.
But Leonard Cohen, I mean, like, you know, you've seen some shit and brushed the dust off and now start telling me all the things.
Yeah. I mean, even, you know, talking about like 80s, people from the 80s that did weird pop stuff, even like Jefferson, everybody going back to that conversation. You know, he did an 80s album with drum machines and shit like that, but it's still so good.
Nice.
It's after his voice dropped, so his voice is like a lot higher, like in his early folk days.
Huh.
And then in the 80s, his voice gets really even. I mean, it's. I wouldn't say it's super high in the folk days, right? But it gets really low during like Everybody Knows. I don't know if you're familiar with that song. You ever see Pump Up the Volume? Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah.
So they play they play Everybody Knows on that. And on the soundtrack, Blonde Redhead does a cover. Anyway, or not Blonde Redhead, different band. Concrete Blonde does the cover of Anyway.
I had a funny little window in the early mid 90s where just because, like, it just so happened, time, all of these different things where I was like having some, you know, as a late teen, early 20s, I was having a little MILF run. And this one, I was like, she's next. She was like, you got to go listen to, and I'll have to pull his tape out to see his last name, but his first name was Ray, and he was like very prolific in the new wave aisle of the library. And so I went and bought a copy of one of this dude's records to know it, so that it would, you know, it was going to work in my, and I was like, nope.
Yeah.
This is, it's not
right.
I want it, but I don't want it that bad. Like, it was just like,
no,
not doing that. Not doing that. Okay, so if we can pretend or imagine that all of us have a personal and a professional bucket list, you're given all the necessary resources to go knock out number one on each. What are those number ones?
I don't know if I have one.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
everything's golden,
I don't look at life like that. I think as a bucketizing my life. You know, I mean, I've gotten to do some amazing things.
Cool.
There's some things I've still not gotten to do, but I would like to do. But I wouldn't call it a bucket list.
Okay.
If I leave this planet tomorrow, I'm not going to be disappointed with what I've gotten to do so far.
Fantastic.
And, you know, from a professional perspective, my watch is telling me to go to bed. From a professional, like, day job perspective, you know, just keeping one until I retire, hopefully, you know.
Sure.
You know, I mean, if there were anything like that, but even then, I don't really feel like, I just don't believe in that, I guess.
That's fair.
Grand scheme of things. So.
Yeah, it's sort of always wanted to, never uh, put it front and center. You know, and I guess part of it is this idea of as you move along the age spectrum, there are things that you really want to do, and then arriving at a point where you're like, well, that's never going to happen, so just forget about that.
Right.
And sort of bringing that back. No, like you could go to it tomorrow. What would you do?
Right.
I would love to go to Japan. I don't know that I can.
Yeah.
I went to Ireland in 2004.
Nice.
And that was a 6-hour flight, and it nearly ended me.
I went to India in 2015. Yeah, 2015, and that was a 22-hour flight. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I would need, so if I'm going to spend 6 months in Japan, 3 rural and 3 urban, I would need like a month on either end to just
get ready,
go in small distances.
And
just stay somewhere for a little bit and shake off the, anyway.
Yeah, I was wondering how you'd have to go. You couldn't go over the Pacific then. You would have to go the other way. You'd have to go through Europe and like China or something, so you could hit stops.
Yeah.
Along the way.
Yeah.
I'm hoping actually to go to Japan next year.
No shit.
For my 50th. It's going to be my 50th birthday present. So we'll see. Birthday present for us. My wife and I, we don't exchange gifts. We just do trips for our birthdays.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
We trade off year to year who gets what. And
have you already done the Googling? Have you done any planning? Like, what do you...
not yet.
How much time?
I should really start now. I've got 9 months, 10 months.
How much time are you going to be there?
I don't know. You know what? Don't have those answers yet. We're usually better prepared. We've been kicking it around. So it was between the Swiss Alps or Switzerland and the Nordic area, you know, in general, or Japan. And I want to see Tokyo, sure, but I want to get outside of the bigger city and go to like Kyoto and go out into the more rural areas of Japan and be out in nature and do all that stuff. So I would say a couple weeks at least, right? That's the goal. But it's also very, very expensive. So
to
get there and stay there. None of that's cheap as far as I understand it. But
the price tag on the staying there part isn't Japan specific. It's just anywhere. It's expensive to go stay anywhere. Or am I wrong?
I think Japan, well, especially Tokyo, and that might be why I'm getting hung up. Tokyo is like one of the most expensive cities in the world, right? So I think
to visit as a tourist.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe that's where I'm.
Sure.
Getting stuck at. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to go anyway. So that's the goal.
Man, love to see pictures or
absolutely, yeah,
journaled or anything.
Yeah, it's that or buy a house. No, I'll definitely send stuff your way.
Cool.
So hoping
cool.
to do it. Yeah.
You're given the opportunity to visit your past self at any age of your choosing. What age are you choosing, and what are you saying?
So I haven't done the only one I really did my research on. Was
Okay. We're not changing Matthew Naquin, who he is today. It's just not a regret thing. It's just if you had the opportunity to do it.
Yeah. I feel like that 17-year-old self from the Afghan Wigs era, it was really in a bad spot. And, just letting him know. I mean, it's maybe trite to say, but man, you're going to be fine. It's going to take a couple decades to shuffle this off.
So funny how quick we are to say it might be trite to say, but there's definitely a percentage of the folks out there that like even saying it right now can be helpful to whatever channel the past you lives on.
Yeah, 100%.
So I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I think, that would have changed me, but if he'd be like, hey man, why don't you cool it on the drugs for a bit and, start taking shit more not seriously, but just
not these drugs, these.
Yeah, exactly. Or taking shit less seriously maybe is what I should have been telling myself, man. It's going to be okay. Just take shit less seriously and finish school up, finish college up.
Sure.
And you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
bathroom break before you put your jacket on.
Yeah.
Just sneak peeks at your ink.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a sugar skull?
Yeah.
What's the story there?
Um, it's probably not as deep as it could be. It's part of that growing up in Northern California thing.
Okay,
Having a lot of Hispanic friends over the years.
cool.
Just really enjoying the culture. It's an homage. It's not a cultural appropriation of any
No,
kind.
I only asked because I'm interested. Like, I mean,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I love the whole,
Yeah.
not just that element of the culture. I love a lot of elements of that culture.
Me too.
Okay. Same with the Japanese that I know very little
well,
about.
This whole sleeve is Japanese
Oh,
type stuff.
okay.
And then there's a Buddha on the inner arm.
Oh, cool.
On this one and
Very
all that
nice.
stuff. So, yeah, I'm a hodgepodge of different
Sure.
cultural identities. But yeah, I will say, as a side note, being in Mexico with the sugar skull makes you slightly a mark, and I didn't realize it.
Really?
Not mark, like nobody was like really trying to take advantage of me, but it got me stopped a few times by people trying to sell me shit because it was an inroad, like, oh, the sugar skull and all this stuff, and then it's like, oh, and then they try to chat you up, and then they're trying to sell you something.
Are they trying to sell anything cool?
No.
Yeah,
It was
all
just
right.
like, buy this outing to this other
Oh.
island type of shit, That
Get
type of
get
stuff.
out of here with that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
so is there drugs and ladies? Like,
You're right.
I have money for that. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a cultural thing. I just love
Cool.
different philosophies, different cultures, always, especially ones that are bright and colorful.
Yeah.
And, just I mean.
Have you seen
it's very
Coco?
Surface, but I have not, which
Dude.
is weird. I heard it's amazing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not, that movie is not unique to me in this way, but I mean, I just watched it recently for probably the fourth, maybe fifth time. I cried
I've heard it does that.
5 times,
Yeah,
just, like,
Right.
and because it's beautiful, it's absolutely beautiful. And
Definitely a heavy philosophical element that wraps through it. Right?
yeah. I interviewed a local artist. He does murals, in area Dink. He has a shop in Strawberry Hill, and he and his lady friend and their baby live in the Prairie Village home that his father built.
Oh, wow.
And they grew the ofrenda as the altar, and that's where you put the relics of the deceased on Dia de los Muertos. And they used an ofrenda growing up, but then when he bought that house from his parents, he built an ofrenda.
Oh, wow.
So it's like all these layers of generation and tradition, and now he and his lady friend whose family did not do that, and their baby, like they're I don't know, it's a cool story.
We in this country, not to get to this direction with things, but I feel like we lack that depth of culture and community and stuff, and it is through cultures from outside of this country that bring that into here, that make it a melting pot, and we really need to cherish that and honor that more, and I wish we would, as a
I'm glad you said that. I oftentimes think about the 6th, 7th grade social studies window of life where you read the whatever the thing is called, where we are a melting pot, and we're all of these things. It's got an, you would know it if I could say it. I don't want to say it's like part of the Statue of Liberty, but it's a wonderfully
okay. I think I know what you're talking.
Written paragraph saying those of us that are here,
bring me your tires.
Yeah, your huddled masses, your yearning to be free.
Yeah.
I remember as a young person with no cultural exposure beyond my tiny little sliver, and reading that and going, wow, I'm not even exactly sure off the top of my head as this young person how long ago it was that this was written, but what foresight
Right.
and how cool that's awesome. And thinking like, by the time I'm an adult or whatever age, like it'll be not rich,
Right.
but it'll be textured
Right.
around me a lot more so than Prairie Village,
Yeah.
Kansas is right now. And wow, we went a different direction.
Yeah, I
feels.
think about that a lot in multiple aspects. Like I remember, being in high school, and I was on the Amnesty International Club and the Peace Club, and we were all so idealistic and young, and I thought for sure, like by the time I'm 50, that it's going to be a better place, man.
Dude,
We're all
the fingerprint of the good I did in the world is going to be a
exactly.
tourist attraction.
Right. Yeah.
People are going to buy tickets to come in here.
But man, we have gone the opposite direction.
It's not funny. It's
you always laugh when you want to cry. Isn't that the old? Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Fear factor.
Okay.
There was a television show called They Win a Prize by doing it. This is not that. This is a real life point A to point B.
Okay.
But in the middle, and you got to get to point B, but in the middle is your biggest source of anxiety, creeps, CBGBs, actual fear. What is it?
Deep water.
Okay.
And
right
spiders.
There. Okay.
So
I'm with you on the deep.
Heights included to some degree.
Oh, wow.
But so worst case scenario, I will be in an airplane that goes down into the depth of the ocean and will release a bunch of big spiders. And
damn it! Yeah. What is the Godspeed record? Raise your skinny arms.
Yeah, lift your skinny fists.
Lift your skin.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Yeah.
You had my kryptonite all along, and I didn't know it.
Damn it, man! I didn't know I'd birthed this thought into existence. Here we are.
All right. Last but not least, please complete this for me. The world would immediately become a better place in which to live, if only
we listened to our young selves that were idealistic and really believed that all these things, all these beautiful, whimsical things would actually take place, and we just let that instead of gotten older and bitter and caught up in whatever bullshit we got caught up in. Probably could have said that more eloquently.
I like it exactly the way it came out.
That's my, if I have one big disappointment in this lifetime, it's that man, what happened? It is, it is not what I thought it was going to be. I'm sure everybody feels that way when they get to this point, but it's a bit of a bummer. And if we could all just maintain that self that still had hope or believed in things or whatever.
I've said this a bunch of times on here before, but in my early 20s, I remember very vividly just being like, fuck, like I spent most of my existence up until now just, come on, I want to be big.
Yeah. I
want to be adult. I want to have rules.
Right, yeah.
And then it's like, this?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What a drag.
This is really bullshit.
It turns out cartoons and cereal on Saturday morning was the bee's knees.
So my wife, she works on Saturdays. I have a kind of a normal 9-to-5 schedule. And so Saturdays are my only kind of day to myself because she'll go to work for a few hours. And I will do that sometimes still.
Nice.
Every once in a while, I'll be like, all right, see you. I love you. You're going to have a good Saturday? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make a little breakfast and sit here and watch cartoons or some bullshit like that for a little while. Maybe I'll play video games. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah. The world is my oyster for a couple hours.
We just went to, I have 3 younger sisters, 2 here, 1 in Chicago. 2 here, single. Chicago has 4 little ones.
Okay.
And so we all went to St. Louis with my stepmom and just to have a weekend and sort of also celebrate her 75th.
Oh, wow.
It was this crazy Airbnb that was like really old and wide and long and had a really unique 3rd story. And on the 3rd story, there was a game room with a closet full of board games and a foosball table and a stand-up arcade that I didn't realize until the weekend was almost over had like 110 games on it. Right. I wanted to play Frogger.
Yes.
Yeah. And I tell you, I worked my ass off to get the high score, and it's one of these. If you power it off and power it
lose
back
it.
on, it's still there.
Oh, it's still there. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Nice.
So I got the high score,
Yeah.
and a little while later, my son came in the room and he's like, "Gotcha," and I was like, "No."
No.
And I went, and he had eclipsed me by a little bit. So then I spent like a crazy amount of time. And
How does
like
a kid these days have the hand-eye coordination for Frogger?
well, one of my sisters, the sister from Chicago, came in the room at one point, and she's like, "Do we need to tell Uncle Blair to get a life?" And I'm like, "Shh, shh, shh, shh." And I got it, and then he got me again,
Oh man.
and I was like, "Bro, like I'm not leaving this house
Right.
without."
How much does a nice night cost here? I'm renting another night.
Yeah,
Nobody's leaving.
exactly.
I feel like there's a Seinfeld episode like that where George gets the high score on
Oh, really?
an arcade game, and he's trying to move it, and he's got like an extension cord plugged in to try to move
funny.
it. Anyway, it gets unplugged and it all
Yeah.
goes away. But
Yeah.
yeah.
At the San Mateo on Instagram and also thesanmateo.com
Yeah.
are places where folks can check out illustrations and music, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think
And then
illustrations.
the San Mateo Bandcamp page has all your releases, and then
Yes.
Apple Music and Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Are any other plugs?
No, no, not right now.
Okay.
Hopefully, my goal is to have something wrapped up by end of this year, first part of next. Hopefully,
Cool.
knock on wood.
Right?
And then I'll start working on getting out there. Social media is not my best thing that I work on, but we'll try.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Anything that you had hoped that we would cover that we didn't?
No, this was great. This
Cool.
was a lot of fun. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed our conversation, and sort of like before we were rolling, I was talking about the, guideless ambling of it's like I gotta reach out to people. Oh, I gotta prepare for a new.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta edit. I got this, that, and the other thing. None of any of it happens if folks don't reply
Oh, yeah.
and show up and all that. So I'm always thankful when they do. And even the folks that reply and that are like, "No, it's not for me." Like that's so
At least
much.
you can cross them off the
Yeah,
list, right?
and it's also just more polite than
Yeah.
just not saying it. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
No,
manners.
I'm they're all gone now. No, I'm glad you reached out. This is a lot of fun. I love things like this. Plus, I love talking about music. So it's just one of my, it's like, fuck yeah, I'll be on that.
Nice.
Great. So,
Very nice. Well, sorry that we kept you past bedtime, but it was awesome talking to you, and hope to talk to you soon.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.